What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. Yes, baby, you know it. It's Tuesday night, 9:30, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the cause. Rebels with a Cause, that is, because remember, the cause don't stop when that clock hits zero, baby. Looking forward to a great show tonight with the guys. Going about to bring them on. Want to make sure that I shout out everybody that I want to shout out to because we got a lot to talk about tonight. If you're on live, definitely hit us up on that chat box and bring your comments, bring your opinions. If you haven't subscribed yet to the show, please hit that like and subscribe button. We definitely need it for the algorithms. Get the show out there. Definitely spread the word, and the show is growing. I know that the boys are at football camp. We got a lot to talk about, some old stories. If any old players are on that have any fun camp stories they want to bring on, definitely do so. Without further ado, though, I want to first say that the show, I want to give a shout out to our guy, Mr. Alex Thatcher and the Knoxville Coffee Company. They're located in the heart of Marble City on Sutherland Avenue. You can get that brew and enjoy it any time of the day, morning, in the afternoon, or even the nights. Mr. Alex Thatcher and his dad and company, they make that brew good. They make it with a lot of love, definitely Rebels with a Cause. So check them out and pay them a visit there in the heart of Marble City. Also want to give a shout out to my gal because the chamber's open, Miss Kim Castle. Go give her a call, get you whatever you need done. She'll get you taken care of: facial, waxes, beard trims, haircuts. She takes care of your boy, the Italian Stallion. She's located there off of Washington Pike, and you can even enjoy a couple of nice adult beverages while all that's happening, and you feel like a true king, true royalty there at the chamber. So definitely pay her a visit and let her know that the Italian Stallion sent you over there. Want to also talk a little bit about this season coming up and so forth, because guys, we're here at the end of July. Football camp is in full swing. All the teams are getting ready. Everybody's hopes and dreams are getting ready. Those seniors, this is the last time you put those pads on. Everybody, the talk, who's going to be good, who's this, who's bringing back what, who's transferred, all that stuff that we've talked about. We have been waiting months, and it's right here on the doorstep. And you want to know, it doesn't get any more real than these two babies behind me. Do you understand me? And we actually have three of them. Let's not forget the 2014. Shout out to Nathan Cottrell, Noah Hoxie, Seth Marshall, all them boys that were on that team. Max Bacon, Alex Birch, Sean Highfill, all them dudes. There were some great players on that team. Ryan Perry. That was a great team, won that first one. But, what we're talking about here is what the current West Rebels are all about. And, definitely been rocking these babies ever since I got it last week. If you missed that ring ceremony episode or those interviews, definitely catch them. Hit the like. Me and Two Pair interviewed a couple of great players there. Some still on the team, some moving on to their next step in their journey. Still all Rebels with a Cause. So if you haven't watched it, definitely check it out on that YouTube channel at Rebels with a Cause 1324. Definitely check it out. But realistically, it is time to talk about what's about to happen. West could be the first 5A team to go into winning three, not one, not two, but three in a row. And that has not been done since 5A came into fruition back in 1994, respectively. But that being said, the coaches and the players, I believe in them. And I know that they are poised for a great season. Very difficult schedule. Going to get everybody's best shot. But at the end of the day, until somebody proves me otherwise, this is our time. We are One West. We are the reigning, defending, back-to-back champs, the Beasts of the East. Haven't lost a 5A regular season game since October 18th, 2019. Have not lost a 5A playoff game since November late, the day after Thanksgiving of 2021. Until somebody comes and hits us right in the face, I just say, that all you got? That's not cocky. Those are facts. That's not being arrogant. That's just telling you how it is. If anything, this team's not getting enough credit. Being picked 7th preseason behind all these other teams, and you only have maybe one team that's beat you in the last 2 years that should be ranked ahead of you because they've won 9 in a row, 16 out of the last 17, Alcoa. But that's the only one in the 29-1, and you're going to disrespect us like that? Who's going to be quarterback? Who's going to be tailback? Who's catching it? Who's going to replace this guy? Don't worry about us. You worry about your own. We have dudes, and they're going to prove something. They are rebels with a cause. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. So, until then, I welcome the competition. I want to be entertained. 29-1, currently got a 7-game winning streak. A lot of other streaks. And let's not forget the biggest one, 5A champions for 599 days and counting. That is like Roman Reigns. And I'll tell you this, there ain't no Cody Rhodes or crybabies out there that are going to change that story. Somebody's going to have to earn it to knock it off this perch. But that being said, let's get back to the show. I want to bring on my co-host, my brother. He is the Mr. 2003 West. He is the voice of the Runnin' Rebels and the Lady Rebels basketball for 18 plus years. And, you know, I'll tell you another thing, an end of an era ended for him, and my heart breaks because I even did a little radio work at my time at UT, and I want to give him the mic to share some of his memories and thoughts while we were talking about it of 90.3 UTK. But without further ado, show him the love, whether you're watching this live or recorded, and if you see him on the streets, you tell him how good he is and show him the respect. He is a rebel with a cause in everything that he does. My brother from another mother, and my favorite Florida State Seminole and North Carolina Tar Heel, Mr. Two-Pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, man?
Clap it up. Dude, that was an awesome promo, man. That was a pretty good promo.
Absolutely.
That was top tier. That was top tier attitude era Heyman-esque. That was dope. That was a dope promo.
And I just did it ad lib. I didn't even have anything written down. It was all ad lib, baby. So
you weren't like The Rock and have it on your arm and John Cena call you out on it.
Nope.
No, that was a really good promo, man. Before I get into what I was going to talk about, I got to give a big shout out to my man Jay Mills, one of the wide receivers who's been killing it, and he wants to be on the show. I told him I said we'll get him an interview. He saw the interview. He's like, "When my interview?" So I said, "Yeah, we'll get him definitely on the show this year." But
real quick. I see you, Jay Mills. I remember the spring game. I see you. Yes, sir.
Mills got one of them. Mills got that gear.
Yes, he
That's
does.
one thing I love about Mills, man. Mills has that gear where I've seen fast, but to hit that gear in stride, like he hits that second gear where he's up to the second level very quickly.
And he's got those hands to go with it, which is huge.
Huge. I also want to show some love to Wyatt DeRoche, Jack Keefe, Antoine, and Burdine. Burdine is my guy.
Riley Manning. I got to give a shout out to Parker Dubon and Elijah Garner, Elijah Dickey, all y'all boys. We see you. Yariq Cook. Number 13 with the glasses.
The chef.
Yep.
Call him the chef because he stayed cooking. He was cooking gears.
Yep. Yes, he
was. But nah, man. It's really sad that 90.3 is not gonna be the way it once was. I mean, they're taking away all these specialty shows. Like you're taking away the Fun House, you're taking away the Mothership, you're taking away Midnight Voyage, you're taking away Locals Only, you're taking away the Indie Aisle, you're taking away Simmer Down, you're taking away Electronic Zoo. You're taking away Ye Alternative. You're taking away Anarchy and the WUTK. All of these shows, Fire on the Mountain, all of these shows are staple shows on the UT station, and they're no longer will exist. And I think it's a shame, man. It really is. Um,
Tuper, can you
for
keep your train of thought? Because I
yeah,
have to, you please educate me and the audience, because here's the thing. Yes, this
mm,
is Rebels with a Cause, but there are potentially former players like yourself, like
yeah,
me, that have pursued communications at the University of Tennessee, whether you pursued UTK The Rock or
yeah.
TVC, and
TVC,
everything
yeah,
like that and
yeah.
so forth. I guess my question is, why are they making such a drastic decision at this time? A decision
Mm,
like this could have made sense 4 years ago with COVID. Maybe you lost some funding, maybe some
exactly.
things happened. I don't understand why that's happening, especially with the popularity of those shows and how long they've been in session, and the
Hmm.
people involved with it, but also from a standpoint of the up and coming people that want to pursue a degree or a career in radio. What is happening? Why is this happening? If you can educate us, with what you do know and so forth.
Well, the thing is, they forced my general manager of 19 years, Benny Smith, to leave, but now he's on administrative leave and he's set to retire at the end of the year.
Hmm.
And he wasn't thinking of that notion. I mean, I thought, being rated the best radio station for 19 years. He wins Knoxvillian of the Year award. You think everything's kind of like set in place for him to enjoy his tenure, and it's just not the case with the university, and it's really a shame, to be honest with you, because nobody is more deserving of having that title than him as being the general manager. Like, uh, he's helped me see the world. Like, I've been to the Bahamas for spring break to host for Student City, uh, Acapulco, Cancun, Guadalajara, Cabo San Lucas. If I didn't come in touch with Benny and 90.3 FM,
You
I
wouldn't have
don't
been there.
get that. That doesn't happen. And he was
And
very, very
however, and
powerful.
how many other young men in that
Yes,
position like you experienced things
exactly.
like that, that won't
Got to announce for
experience
the
that going
University of
forward,
Tennessee. I
that
got
won't
to
go
announce for
forward.
I got to announce for the University of Tennessee
You did well.
because I was on radio,
Yep, and you did
and
great.
I appreciate that. But I've enjoyed my time, man. Like, I don't really have a bitter soul in my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hold any I don't hold any grudges, or I'm not mad at the situation. It's more so that we were coming up on 20 years of a show being on air, you know, and I was coming up on my 19th year doing radio, and it's a thing that I've done every Saturday and every Sunday while I've done this, while I've announced it West, and it's just it's a tough pill to swallow. You
Of
know what I mean?
course,
It's
of
it's
course.
like it's a lot of my life being, taken away. And it's a lot of other people's lives that have been taken away. I look at shows like I was in high school when the Funhouse started. Or no, I was either leaving high school, I was in college, and I
Hmm.
still remember the Funhouse. I remember listening to Stir the Pearl on Club 90 on Saturdays for the show that I do now. I remember listening to Stir the Pearl doing it on Saturday nights. It's just crazy to think that there's so much history there.
Yeah.
And the artists that I've interviewed, like, because of that station, I've interviewed Redman, Young Buck, Project Pat, Moneybag Yo, Devin the Dude, a lot of my favorite, what I'm saying, MCs. I've got Method Man. I've gotten a chance to talk to, Big Boy. Um, a lot of my favorite rappers are because of that station and being able to break music, and
Promote
it's
music
just that
probably too.
promote music too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Get
man.
get get the
Yeah.
local scene out there, these up
Yes.
and coming guys that are just putting their blood, sweat, and tears into their
Mm-hmm.
message and their work. It's not there anymore. I mean, this is
No,
just heartbreaking to see and hear.
it is, man. It is like it's it's a shot, man. It's a shot in the arm. Like you just you feel like a lot of your life is taken away from you, and a thing that you were accustomed to doing on the regular. Like some some that was therapy for people.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Hmm.
Like, this show is so special to you, to me, to
Hmm.
Shane O'Mac, and listen, I love hearing everybody wanting to be on the show, and let me tell you something, we ain't going anywhere. Just like this
We're
West
not.
football team, we ain't going nowhere,
We ain't going
okay?
anywhere.
And
No.
uh, and the more endorsements and everything that we get, I mean, we don't do this for money. We do this for fun. We do this for the
No,
love.
we
I
do
mean, we do
this.
this. Yeah,
We
this
do
is.
this because if we were in high school at this time, we would have wanted someone to do a show about our school. Like,
Mm,
talk about that football team. Talk about
mm,
that basketball team, men's and women's. Talk
mm,
about that lacrosse team that's gonna come.
mm,
Talk
mm.
about that baseball team,
Talk about the girls' soccer team, Sonny
soccer
Trotter's
team.
girls. Yeah,
You know
so,
what I'm
yep,
saying? Back in the day when Sonny Trotter was coaching,
yep.
like, and that was one of the first sports I announced was girls soccer.
I remember. I was up in the booth just sitting next to you one time, and you were just calling a game there that junior year, senior
Calling
year,
the
my
game.
year, so
Yeah,
yeah.
calling soccer games, calling
Jenny Singleton, little Jenny Singleton killing
oh
it out
man,
there. So
was she
she was
not a
good.
great
She was
Jenny
really good.
Singleton is one of the best soccer players. Mary Trotter,
Mary
Rachel
Trotter,
Bass, Emily
Audrey Hauser.
Devine,
Yeah, yeah.
Audrey Hauser,
Audrey Huber. Sorry,
Audrey
my bad.
Huber, my
Yep.
bad, Audrey Huber.
Yeah.
Audrey Huber was a hell of a soccer player.
Yeah.
Lindsey Stone, Shiva Parang, all my girls, they're very near and dear to my heart,
Yep.
man. You know what I'm saying? Maggie Rose, Laura Eldridge, those girls were like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They were family. And doing this show has brought me closer to you guys. You know what I mean? Like we
Hmm.
were already close because we were already in the same circles.
Hmm.
Um,
And we run
I
into each other here and there,
a
but now we
lot
see each other all the
all the
time.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
like seeing you at the ring ceremony and seeing you with those rings, and it just was such a cool thing to see. And interviewing players. Like if I was in school and if I was at West and this was happening, I would have loved to be a part of that.
Oh my God, how
Like
could you
to be a
not?
part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
You mean
And what about
yeah,
the
to be a
picture
part of
that we
that.
got in with Coach and everybody's showing the rings? I mean, you didn't have one, but you're still in that picture, and that's going to
Yeah.
be hung up in the press box, like the very press box you called them girls' soccer games in.
Hmm.
Like that, that's pretty
Yeah.
special, like
And
honestly.
and not enough kudos go to this administration team. Like um for Principal Speeds to allow us to do this, for um Mr.
Romero.
Romero, Paul
Yeah.
Romero,
God, man.
giving
Yeah.
putting this on the app to
Hmm.
where people can watch all the episodes through the app.
Hmm.
Um, just the amount of support like that we get from Coach Carruthers. And everybody knows how I feel about Coach Carruthers. He
Me too.
definitely had a huge impact in my life, for as through high school and then getting me through college and then post college and then what I'm saying, all the other stuff that I deal with. Like he's truly been he's truly been I can't even think of the word. He's a true inspiration
He's a
every
rebel
day.
with a cause. He's a
He's a
rebel
rebel
with a
with a
cause.
cause.
He
But
is. So yeah.
when what I see, like what I see this administration team doing, and with what Paul Romero has done with this athletic department, I really feel like Paul is running this like I pray to God that a college does not call him. Because
Hmm.
if he's a director of athletics at a college, you're gonna look for championships. The way he runs it, man, it's just
Well, and the way that
he's got
administration gets
it like
promoted, I mean, the way that
yeah,
administration gets promoted, you just lost two good ones to two other
two good
schools
ones.
that now they're the running the show, you know? And that's what
Yeah.
happens all the time. Look at the teachers we had. We've talked about it. Shane's talked about it. They
Yes.
essentially run AJ now. I still
Yeah.
call it AJ even though they're at the
I still
TBA
call it
towers.
AJ too.
But
I still call it
they
AJ
run
too.
the show. Shout out to
Hmm.
Coach Petco, you know.
My guy,
Shout
that
out
was
to
my
Shannon
basketball
Jackson,
coach,
Miss Jackson, you know. I mean,
Miss
they were
Jackson.
heading
Shout
up
out to
the
Miss
math
Jackson.
and
Yeah.
the English department, and they were our math and English teachers at West. I want people to
Yeah.
think about that. They're calling the shots
They're
over
calling the shots,
everything.
man.
I
They're
mean,
they're calling the
goodness
shots.
gracious. So, yeah.
They're
So,
calling the shots,
we
and
went
and
to the
and
best school. West is
we
best, man.
did.
I'm sorry. So, it
We
is. So,
did,
yeah.
man. And we'd be remiss if we didn't bring in our stat guy.
Oh, we
Like
got to get him in here. Yeah. So, for
when I
sure.
tell you, I've known this dude since sixth grade, and I seen this dude touch the ceiling in the health hallway. I said, "This dude is a freakish athlete.
Yeah, well, not only
He's
that,
a freakish athlete."
he knows so much about the game of football. Like when I
Oh
was
my
sitting next to
god,
him,
yeah.
he was pointing things out to me that not that I didn't know, but it was like now I'm paying attention to that kind of a stuff when I'm watching, and I'll
Yeah.
definitely be watching that when we go to these scrimmages and then when the games actually start. You know, besides my duties that I have as being stats guy and everything, because there's
Mhm.
only so much of the game I can watch. Literally, one more thing I want to give a shout out to before we bring
Because
him on
most of the time
officially.
you're on your spreadsheet
I
getting
gotta be quick.
tackles,
I
getting
gotta be
catches,
quick,
and
and I gotta give it to.
so do you
Um,
have a spotter?
I'm the spotter. I'm actually the
I'm the
spotter. Chris
spotter.
is actually putting it in the computer, but I have to yell it loud enough that Claybo says it over the microphone and does the PA and everything like that of who
Got
made the
you.
tackle,
Got you.
what yard
Okay.
line it is. I mean, I am have to be
Okay.
on it like that. So yeah,
Okay. So you're
exactly.
the spotter.
I'm
I
the head
didn't know
spotter.
that. I was
Yeah.
just like, well, okay, if you're the statistician, then
But
you're
here's the other thing too. I'm gonna need a spotter for 2 games because, Chris is gonna be out, doing something with the family, and so
mhm.
I'm gonna be on the machine doing the stats, so I'm gonna need a spotter those
So
2
you're gonna
weeks,
need a
and it's
spotter.
towards the end of the year. So, yeah, it's I think
Okay,
the
yeah.
Halls and the Powell game at the end of the year on the
I'm
road.
definitely sure
So
that somebody in the West
oh,
family
yeah. No, I have
is
my buddy Will Tercios who helps out. He's
okay.
helped me in the past, who's Nalaja Dickey's big brother in the Big Brother, Little Brother program. Shout out to Will.
That's what's up. That's
And
what's up.
his daughters are on the Farragut girls soccer team that's going to be really good this year. So shout out to them.
Hmm.
But literally, like before I bring Shane on, the one thing I do want to say is think about all the media that now West has, and I want Shane also to when he comes on to talk about it as well. But think about this. How often was it that West might be the game of the week on radio? Because realistically, 99.1 has been Catholic football for almost 20 something years. Okay.
Yeah, they have been.
98.7 has gone from Bearden High School to now Hardin Valley High School. And then
Hardin Valley's on
990
90.
would be the KOC game of the week or whatever. And they would go to
So
whichever game.
990 would be sports. That's the sports. No, that's
Sports
not.
Animal. Yeah, it's still
Yeah,
Sports
that's the
Animal.
FM. Is that the FM? I mean
Yeah.
AM. That's
Yeah.
AM
And it's the
station.
game that Vince Ferrara calls, you know, and basically
Oh, I love Vince. Vince is
and does
good,
Catholic.
good
So Vince
people.
is
I
great.
love Vince.
Yeah. And
Vince
Vince has
is
had
amazing.
Kevin Simon on last year. Kevin Simon was calling
Kevin,
games.
I caught Kevin Simon on the EA show today. He's been sitting in on a lot of the shows.
Yeah, he's
Whenever,
finally
yeah,
using that communications degree because we both were
yeah.
communications majors at the same time at UT. We had many
Oh man,
classes
he's such a
together.
great guy.
He's a
He's
good
an
dude from De
amazing
La
guy.
Salle, man. He
De
played
La
with
Salle,
him and DJ Williams, dude, back
DJ
in the day,
Williams.
roaming the sidelines,
Oh
sideline to
my
sideline
gosh,
at De La Salle, and their
and he
171 game winning streak. So
and
yeah.
and then you look at his trajectory as linebacker, player to coach to
Mm.
he was with the Cowboys for a minute.
Yeah,
He
he
was down with
played.
the Cowboys.
He made the
Yeah,
league. He was hell of a player. So
yeah,
yeah.
but he was coaching. I remember he was.
And he was
I
coaching
remember.
too. Yeah.
I remember. I seen him in Sevierville. I remember I seen him in Sevierville, and he was. That's when he was coaching with Dallas. I want to say He may have coached with Atlanta as
He
well,
might
but
have.
I definitely know he coached in Dallas. I
Yeah.
definitely know he was
Yeah.
definitely in Dallas. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
but him and Ferrara did a great job last year, calling a lot of those playoff games for West because they were in the booth.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: where I was getting at. Now you've got Diamond Clear Media, and that's how I watch the games. Like literally, it's
Yeah,
uploaded, so I go home and then I watch like what I missed from the head spotter stuff to rewatch the
yeah.
game.
I like what
Then,
Diamond Clear is doing.
oh,
I think
Diamond Clear is
there
amazing.
needs to
So,
be there needs to be like a dedicated there needs to be like a dedicated channel
hmm
for Tennessee high school athletics.
yeah, yeah,
And I feel like we're on the verge of doing it because of what we're doing. I
hmm
think because we created we created a community for former players. Like you get a chance to hear words from a big O. He tell you about a guy like Daniel Lee, who people
hmm
forget about that played for West. And
and you're
I
talking
actually
30 something years ago.
you're talking
Yeah.
30 something years ago. And when I went up to Wyatt DeRoche and I told him, I was like, man, one of the former players from when I was watching West football said that you're his favorite player. And that's a guy from the class of 98
I know.
saying that about a kid from the class of
Now
225.
2025. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so crazy.
Isn't that cool?
It's
Isn't that
it's
cool?
mind
Oh,
blowing.
I love
It
it. I
really
love it. And that's
I
why I'm
do too.
bridging
I
this,
do too.
the brotherhood of
Yeah,
rebels. Yeah.
you're creating the brotherhood almost like Coach Krzyzewski was creating.
Exactly. Yeah, I stole it from one of the greatest
Yeah,
there. So,
yeah.
yeah. But I'm going to bring on Shane. But yeah, and then let's not forget John Boynton. I hope he's doing the calling this year. I know he does the State Farm stuff as a realtor or insurance agent. I forget which he is, but honestly, John Boynton, when he calls them Diamond Clear games for West, and he goes
Oh,
touchdown Rebels, like it's
I
awesome.
love that.
It's
I
great.
do love that. I
And
love that.
the great Russell Bivin from Channel 10 Live at 5,
He's
shout
on
out to
Jack
him,
Radio.
is
Jack
doing
Radio.
Jack FM radio with another sports guy from Channel 6 back in the day, Mr. T. Dot himself, Mark Nagy, who I used to
I love Mark
do
Nagy.
sports with and so forth. So Mark
Mark Nagy was
Nagy,
on
yeah.
WATE back in the day,
Yep, him and
man.
Jim Wogan back then. So,
Man,
yeah.
Jim Wogan is my hero. I think
Mhm.
he's in the ministry now. I
Yeah,
think,
he's in the
right?
ministry. Yeah, he's very
Yeah,
into his faith, his Catholic faith.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, I'm going
Jim
to bring him on.
Wogan.
He's itching to get on. I want to give him the mic. He's on. You talked about his athleticism. I'm talking about his brains. He's great in the kitchen. Ladies, he's single. He's a great father. Hit him up. I'm sure he'll take you out on a nice date, honestly. But he's also
Mm.
doing some coaching. So let's bring him on. Our stats man, our brother, the great, the one and only Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee. What is up, dude?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Clap it up, my man.
Yeah, I had to bust out
Shane
that.
O'Mac.
I had to bust out that athletic ability tonight. I had to be the scout team running back.
Who's that now?
I had to be the. I had to bust out the athletic ability to be the scout team running back tonight.
You had to be the
So I
scout
would,
team
I would
running back.
call. I would call the offensive play and then go get in the huddle.
Do they still
That's
call you?
crazy.
Did they still call you Quadzilla, man? With them quads, honestly, man, I'm
They
telling
didn't
you.
care.
So
Quadzilla.
Quadzilla. So shout out to my
Quadzilla.
guy Kerry Reeves, baby. Hello, fellas. Shout out to Russell Bivin and
Yeah.
Jack FM for the broadcast last year. Amen.
Hey,
Phenomenal,
you
and they'll be
want to
back this year
know?
too.
Oh, I
You
got to
want to
jump in.
know? You want to know if it was a big game, guys? This how I knew it was a big game. If Curry was working security at your game,
Yeah,
that
you
was
knew it.
how you knew it was a big game in Knoxville.
Yes,
Because
sir.
you can't forget Curry Reeves' face. He was at every big game. I'm talking about Christmas tournaments. I'm
hmm
talking about Thanksgiving tournaments. If it was a big game in the city, he was there. Like
Yeah.
I never did not see him. Like if I wasn't playing, if I wasn't playing a sport, if I wasn't playing basketball, and I would go to a game, even even when we graduated and we were in college, Curry was at every big game.
hmm
Man, he was at every big game.
Yeah, and
It's like,
I love seeing him every time, and you know what? He's always up there in the box getting ready because he runs the scoreboard, and he sees me, and you know what we do to each other? I'm right at the bottom, and we just look at each other, and we give each other that W. And it's
That's what's
just
up.
like, I'm here, we're here, we about
Yeah.
to run this, and we'll see what happens, honestly. So,
Yeah,
yes.
man.
Yeah.
Curry's an underground legend, man. He's a
Yes, he
definite
is.
underground legend. If you've ever been at a big high school game, he did a lot of big games. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about like I can recall seeing him if it was a big game in the city
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and he wasn't there, it wasn't a big game. It
Yep.
wasn't a big game. He was there at every big game. Every big game I remember seeing Kerry Reeves. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
no, I love
One of my
talking with
favorite one of
him.
my favorite people, man.
Great man,
One of my
great
favorite
guy,
people.
Oh,
great guy. I love talking football
I
with
gotta
him.
give a quick story where y'all talk about Simon filling in for EA.
Yeah.
I've known,
Yeah.
I've known Simon for a couple of years now. His oldest son, well, I was coaching at Bearden back when he was in middle school, and they just moved back into the area. Me, him, and another coach kind of got into a little heated argument one night because I want to say it was his son Kenny. Just got to practice, been there a week. He's like, "Why's my boy not on varsity?" Like, he's got to learn the playbook. So like it turned into a heated debate. I'm sitting there like I'm literally arguing with a former NFL player and NFL scout right now, and no, I won't back down to anyone. But I was like, man, this might not work out too well for me. But me and him are close now. Like anytime we run into each other, it's nothing but love. Run into him at camps, run into him at games when he's doing the sports animal thing. Great dude, great kids.
Great dude. Great dude.
I've met a lot of Tennessee players over the years, and he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, no,
definitely
and
one of my
he's
favorites.
awesome, and like I said,
him and Kevin Burnett. Kevin Burnett's
Yeah.
one of my favorites
yeah,
too.
yeah, K2, yeah.
Shout out to CJ Faden, Chris Hannon, Jonathan Wade, Gerald Riggs. All those guys were like a year before me.
Mhm.
And
I had a lot of classes with those dudes back in the day. I did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've got a lot of pictures. My kids got a lot of pictures with them from the camps they go to.
Do you guys remember Amari Gaither?
I do remember Amari Gaither.
Man, another guy, Jason Hall.
Oh yeah.
Jason Hall. There was a ton of dudes back like I was taking summer school at UT before I think it was pre-college Upward Bound, where I got to take summer school and you got to stay in the dorms and everything. And I met all those guys as they were in summer school for football. Like that's how I met Chris Hannon. And Chris Hannon, Brett Smith.
I remember Brett Smith. Brett Smith was an underrated receiver. I'm telling you.
God.
So,
Brett Smith, Jason Swain. Well,
Meacham.
Yeah, Meacham. Meach was
a beast.
Yeah, he was.
Meach was a beast.
Man, there was one year my mama made friends with this dude who worked at the liquor store on top of Beard Hill. His roommate was Jamal Lewis.
Wow.
So my mom, not telling me any of this at first, was like, so I'm sitting in my room. She convinces him to invite Jamal over. And I'm sitting in my room. Shane, get your living room right now. What did I do now? Walk in there, there's Jamal Lewis standing in my living room. I'm like, oh my God.
Man, seeing Jamal Lewis back in high school or middle school or seeing like the likes of Deion Grant, that's one thing I loved about the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tennessee Valley. The amount of college players that you got to meet, like Peyton Manning coming through the Moses Teen Center, or you get to hear him speak at Bearden High. Stuff like that was cool.
I ran into Leonard Little at a tailgate one year. That dude, this was, oh God, it's probably been 10, 11 years ago now. And that dude puts fear into me. I just see him, he looks like he can still take a snap to this day.
I
Yeah.
just can't get over the fact that at one point the linebacker unit at UT, and this wasn't even the team that won the national championship, was Al
Mhm.
Wilson, Leonard Little, and Eric Westmoreland. Jesus criminies, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
hold on, hold
Like,
on, hold on, hold
yeah,
on. We didn't even say Ray Knox
Ray
Thompson.
Knock
Oh,
Thompson.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, come on. So yeah, he'd knock you, Ray Knock. I mean, come on. So,
Ray Knock Thompson.
yep, yep.
How good was
Westmoreland is
Ray Knox?
all too, though.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that '97 team, they just ran into a buzzsaw with that '97 Nebraska team.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah, yeah,
but I
Yeah.
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but damn, that Tennessee
Yeah.
team was good too with
That
Peyton and
team
all
was
them. They
good,
were really
but
good. So
but
yeah.
what people fail to realize about that Tennessee team is Peyton was playing with juniors and sophomores.
Hmm.
He wasn't playing with seniors and juniors. What T was playing, T was playing with seniors and juniors.
He
You
was.
know, and T was a junior himself.
And that's
So
why you saw the drop off in 2000 when they really didn't know if they were going to go Suggs or Joey Matthews or Casey Clausen. Like if you
mhm.
think about that, that was a very young team, but you saw how good they were in 2001, 2002, kind of
two,
right there,
Yeah.
where they fell
2001
short.
and
They
two
they fell
were
short,
the
against LSU and they
LSU.
yeah,
If
yeah,
if
so
they beat LSU, they see Miami. Miami wins it still,
yeah,
but
but it still would have been fun.
That was
Miami
a
they
game,
would
though.
have given they would have gave Miami a better game than Nebraska.
Oh my God, that
Nebraska
game was
wasn't
over
going
in
to
the
give
first
Miami.
quarter. That game was over in
Ne-
the first quarter. So shoot.
Nebraska was not going to give Miami was the actually Miami was the best team in college football 2 years in a row. We
Yeah.
just don't want to. They just don't want to admit it because Oklahoma beats a Florida State team that shouldn't have been there.
That's right. That's right. So,
And
and then a
I'm so
flag, and then a flag. I'm not saying Miami 2002 was all world, but a flag pretty much.
flag. Yeah,
I mean,
that's three
fireworks are
titles.
going off, and
That
and it's like you got to get your helmet back on and play. I mean, come on. So,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Miami definitely should have won three in that. They had no business playing Florida in the Sugar Bowl.
mm-mm.
That was I'm sorry, that wasn't a matchup I was wanting to see because I knew the outcome. I even told you when Miami beat Florida State,
In wide right
I
three. Yep.
said I said Miami is the best team in college football.
Yep.
I said I didn't get mad at you. I didn't
No.
say
No.
I was like we had an understanding and
We did.
like
And you
I
had
don't
kicked
hate
our butts
Miami.
5 years in a row prior to that game. I mean,
But
so
you know
seriously.
I
So
don't
yeah.
hate Miami at all. I
Mm-mm. Oh, I know you
actually
don't. I know you don't.
I love both kind of equally. Because dude, some of my favorite players of college football have played for Miami. You know what I'm saying? Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. I sent you the.
You
I
sent me
used
the
to get
Willis
that.
McGahee thing. That Willis McGahee picture
Yeah,
was with the visor.
Ed
Oh my
Reed.
God, that was
But
solid. Ned
do
Reed, yeah.
you? But yeah, so there's a Facebook group. There's a Facebook group on Facebook, and it's called Ghost
Of the
uh,
Orange Bowl,
of the
yes,
Orange Bowl.
yes, a
Right.
great, great, great group,
I
yes.
love it because you see where the guys went to school. How many people knew that Ed Reed was from Louisiana? If you're not a Miami fan,
Yeah, I
if you're
did.
not a
Larry did because
Miami
Larry's
fan,
from Louisiana too. Yes, exactly. And
right?
though he was a two-star, he was a two or
He was
three-star
a
guy.
two. He was a
So
that guy, that
yes,
guy,
yes,
that
yeah,
guy.
because
He
he was
was everywhere on the
undersized.
field.
But Butch identified him. That's the talent. That's how Butch identified the talent. He
But
also got Reggie Wayne out of Louisiana
yeah.
too to go to Miami. So
But
yeah,
what I like about that is he a Miami guy or is he a U guy?
yeah,
There's a
exactly.
difference.
There is a difference. There
There's a
is a difference.
difference.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
huge difference,
yeah.
and that's like, is he a West guy or is he a rebel
Is he a
guy?
rebel guy?
Is he a
Exactly.
rebel
That's
guy?
true. That's true.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to throw this out there real quick, Shane. You brought something up. Yes, Tennessee definitely would have given a better game in the Rose Bowl to Miami than, say, Nebraska. Absolutely. I'm
yeah.
going to throw this out there, too. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people I remember were just like, how the hell did Tennessee lose to LSU, that LSU team? Because if you think about it,
Yeah,
Rohan Davey got hurt. and also LeBrandon
Tofield.
Tofield got hurt
Tofield.
too. So they were really with a backup in Matt Mock, and they had a backup in Dominic Davis, who wasn't a bad little back as well. But you know
No,
where the
he played
difference
in the
was?
NFL. He played in the NFL.
Here's what people need to go do. Because I went back and I was like, I watched the game. It took me years to get over being a Tennessee guy too. And I was like, but I went back and I watched it and I go, how the hell did they lose this game? And realistically, just look no further than who was on Saban's coaching staff for that LSU team. Because 2 years later, they're winning a split of the national championship with USC, beating Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. And on that staff,
in a virtual home game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on that staff was, Kirby Smart. You also had Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher was on that staff.
Yep. Muschamp was on that staff. I mean, there were some dudes.
Bo Pelini wasn't on that staff.
I think he was. I think Pelini was.
Was Pelini?
Because
hold on, I thought. Okay.
Derek Dooley was on that staff. Derek Dooley was on. I know he didn't do much in Tennessee, but Derek Dooley was on that staff. So
Pelini was on Saban's staff and Les Miles. So he was on two championship
because he
teams?
stayed. Because remember, remember, some guys went with Saban to the Dolphins, and some stayed.
Yeah, that's right.
With Miles
I
when he became the LSU coach.
I remember that now. I remember that now. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, Larry even said Bo Pelini. Yeah, so you look at that staff. Yeah. A lot of those guys went on, and whether they have failed or not, some of them have won national championships, and it took them competed, and they became head coaches themselves. So look no further than that LSU staff had them prepared for that SEC championship game. They did. They did.
They did. They
were at OC. You had Muschamp at linebackers. I mean,
listen to this. It's sick.
See, now I don't like talking about Derek Dooley, but he was coaching tight ends. Let's see. Let's go through the whole staff real quick. Jimbo,
go ahead.
Michael Haywood at running backs and special teams. O-line was George Arno. Wide receivers, Stan Hickson. Dooley at tight ends. Defensive coordinator, Gary Gibbs. Muschamp at linebackers. Pete Jenkins at D-line. Charlie Harbison at D-backs. And, yeah.
Wow. I mean, it was a sick group.
It was sick. It was a sick group. It was
a sick group. Look at the careers most of those guys have had since.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a sick group.
Derek Dooley was a cheap tipper at the Mouse's ear, according to one of my friends that worked there. But anyway, so
my cousin played for him. But my cousin also said
I can't even believe he was there. Wow.
Oh, he showed up. He showed up, and he was a cheap tipper. That's what they said. So about him at the Mouse's ear. So
my cousin played for Dooley.
That's about right.
Dooley over Butch Jones.
That's about right.
He probably walked in with them damn orange pants too, and looked like a fool walking out. So
with his stool on the sideline.
Exactly. So, but guys, let's talk about this. I want to get into it because the theme of this show. And here we are 42 minutes in finally talking about it, but I love it anyway. And I love the chat box. Shout out to Carrie. Shout out to Larry Frank. Shout out to anybody. Please come out there and say something, please. But West Rebel football, we're going to talk about it. I had a heck of a promo at the beginning of the show. Thank you for that, for that love, two pair, with my Paul Heyman-esque promo. So if you missed it, definitely go back and watch it.
That was class. I was like, man, this is kind of Paul Heyman.
You know what? You need to clip it. You need to clip it and share it on IG and Twitter or whatever.
I'm clipping that one. I'm going to clip it like later on tonight, and you can send it to you early in the morning.
Absolutely.
That was funny as hell.
It was, yeah, but it was a lot of facts being spitted there. But here's the thing, and Shane, I want you to talk about this too because things have changed from when we played. We used to love to go away to football camp. Our moms and dads would wish us well. We got there real early in the damn morning and we left. And, you made sure that you had your stuff. I mean, you had to have your pads. You had to have like a nice bag. You had to have your own snacks. I mean, you had
some dudes took a TV.
Some people took a TV, a radio. I mean, the boombox, the old boombox back in the day. And it was like, who were you rooming with? I mean, I remember one year we actually had rooms with 4 guys in there. There was one year where it was like Like think Full Metal Jacket with the barracks, and the
Yeah.
cots and everything in the bunk beds. Like that's what we had. And
LMU.
LMU,
LMU Heritage.
yeah, there was LMU, and then there was the place down in Cleveland. But realistically, I want us to share some camp stories. If any old players are watching, definitely share yours, whether
Dog
it's live or
Patrol.
recorded. So Dawn Patrol. If you didn't
Dog
show up for
Patrol.
summer workouts,
You
Oh,
miss
you had Dawn
I
Patrol.
missed I missed I missed I missed two summer workouts, and I had to do Dog Patrol for one day, and it was
Mhm.
one day enough.
Do you know how I got out of Dawn Patrol, by the way? So I missed a couple summer workouts. And Coach
Mm,
Rogers was this is probably the only decent thing Coach Rogers ever did for me. He said, "Okay, Free Daddy, I want you to show up on Saturday before we go to football camp, and I want you to clean up the stadium. I want you to pick up every piece of trash, every piece of litter. If there's
mm.
dirt that needs to be moved and mulch, I want you to do it." So I showed up with gloves and everything, and I worked for 4 or 5 hours and made that stadium look pretty. Picked up trash by the track, all that stuff. And I basically got out of Dawn Patrol. And let me tell you this, I'm glad I did it because I heard horror stories and nightmares about Dawn Patrol.
Man, that
So,
man
yeah,
Spencer Davis, my freshman year, did Dog Patrol every day.
oh.
Spencer Davis did
sucks.
Dog Patrol.
You had to get up
So
at like
I'm
what,
gonna tell you
5:15 in the morning or something
five
like that?
no
Or,
no 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 5 in the morning.
uh-huh.
You had to do bird crawls. You had to do high knees. You had to do the 100. You had to do the 100 10 times. Now remember, we're in 2 a days. We are in 2 a days. So you got that, and breakfast starts at like 8 or 9,
It was like
right?
8. It was
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Eight.
Yeah.
So you got to eat breakfast, and then we're putting on pads at what 10 or 11.
No, we're actually putting them on at like 9, like 9:30. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
No,
yeah.
we went out.
9 to
No,
11, 11:30. We break for lunch and then go back out again in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and then we'd have dinner afterwards or whatever
Yeah.
like
man,
that. So
and you remember how long the line was?
I do.
That that line, if you were a freshman, and I got the experience it my freshman year and going into my sophomore year. I got to experience it twice.
Yeah.
And dude, that line was so long, bro. Like
Hmm.
I felt sorry for it. I felt sorry for guys that like were in the back. If you were a freshman, because
Hmm.
the way that freshman roster looked, because this is guy the West freshman roster was not the complete roster when I was playing. It
No.
was not. So you had Drew Franklin go to Catholic. He was supposed to come to West. Andre Atwater went to Bearden.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? I thought that I was going to be playing with those guys, and here I am. I'm coming off of which is now the MAC team or junior varsity team, Central Super Midgets. I'm coming off that team that won like 7 or 8 games, and I'm like one of the few Central guys that is playing at West.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
So you,
saying? So
so you were just kind of like getting acclimated to everybody at that point and so
well, no, I
forth.
knew everybody.
Yeah.
I knew everybody. So as far as like off that freshman team, but I played so well to get a starting spot
Hmm.
because of what I could do on defense and what I could do on offense. Brandon Bell was not there at my first freshman. I think he had baseball.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys had baseball, like Mike Courtney, he had baseball.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they were damn good baseball players.
Yeah.
They were.
Like
They were. That's
damn
why I
good
never
baseball players.
understood why the baseball team wasn't any better. I mean, that's why I don't understand that. John Weddle was a pretty good ball player too, your all's
Yeah.
class. So yeah,
That
I
that
mean,
whole class, that
yeah.
whole class, that my
Our,
freshman,
our
my
class was a lot of
freshman,
baseball players.
yeah, like you look at like Alan Wallace was a hell of a baseball
He
player.
was better at baseball than football, no doubt.
Like
So, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like there were some really talented guys on that
Your
baseball
class
roster.
had a lot of athletes. Your class
Ton of
had
athletes,
a lot of guys
ton
and
of
girls too.
dudes.
Girls as well in their
Yeah,
respective sports as well. They
yeah. Shout out to
really did.
Carrie Helms, one of the best female basketball players. Amy Farina, I love her to
Hmm.
death. One of the
Yeah.
one of my favorite basketball players. Dude, Sakara Merchant,
Hmm.
dude. Like we
Laura
had some
Stancher. Laura
Laura
Stancher.
Stancher, Christy
Yeah.
Stancher.
Yep. So.
Ashley Coward out of your class.
Yep.
How
Yep.
good
So,
was Ashley Coward?
yeah.
Her freshman, sophomore, and junior year.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what always just it just always seemed like we had the players, and I would just love to if you took that whole group and put them us now, with what the resources that these kids have and the administration and everything. I mean, I think that we're right there doing great things as well. Honestly, I
But
really believe that.
all the players when we were in school, and I want to credit the kids now because all of the best players that were walking in school didn't play football.
Mm-mm,
Like
they
there were
didn't.
some guys that should have been playing football as opposed to playing basketball primarily. Because Wes, at when we were in school, I'm a basketball player playing football. I'm not a football player that plays basketball.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a
Yep,
difference
there is a difference.
because I figure if I don't commit fully to football, I have a chance to play on the basketball team. That's how it kind of was back then. You didn't see a lot of dual guys. Like if if Alton played football, yeah, he's playing basketball. But that junior year, where if he's a starting quarterback, he's playing football and he's playing basketball. If he's not getting a starting job, he's not playing football. Not
Yeah,
gonna
it's
waste
true.
his time.
It's true. It's true.
Not
Well,
he's
and
not
the
gonna
other
waste
thing,
his time.
well, and going
He's
back
not
to
gonna.
that line,
Yeah, because he
y-
got hurt.
yeah,
Remember,
exactly.
he got hurt.
He did get hurt. He did get hurt.
That
And also think about this too. You talk about that food line. I mean, I was that first. Oh man, they got this, they got that, and then you're puking on the sidelines, and it's like, you know what? I'm staying away from that the next day or what have you.
Yeah.
Or not having as much for lunch because realistically, I think a lot of us did good at dinner time because we
yeah,
needed that,
yeah.
just to
Dinner
get ready
time
for
was
the next
great.
day. Dinner
Yeah,
time, you
that
feel
sounds
great.
Dinner
amazing.
time, but here's the thing. Back then, I wasn't eating heavy if I got to go right back on the field.
Yeah,
So it was more so salads, pasta. They had always had pasta.
they had carbs
So
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I was pasta salad. I didn't really, just want to stay hydrated the
Yeah.
whole time.
Oh, and that
Want
was
to
the
stay
other thing too.
hydrated.
You always had to drink, like we were always drinking water on those breaks, like even if we were outside, because that one camp that we went to down in Cleveland, and a lot of my stories come from that camp. And, rest in peace, Jason Day, rest in peace, Tim Thomas. I mean, I think that was the biggest laughs I ever had. I mean, here, I'm going to start off with a story. So I don't know
Was
if you
that
guys
your
had to
was
do
that
this.
your junior year?
That was their senior year, my junior year.
Junior
Okay.
year.
All right.
Okay.
So that would have been your all sophomore year. But I don't know if you guys had to do this or not, but I had to because I had just joined the team. So basically, you had to do a skit and
Mm-hmm.
they'd
Mm-hmm.
throw bottles at you. They would throw bottles at you empty. They
Oh,
had
Plastic
to be
bottles.
empty. Yes.
Empty plastic
Yes.
bottles.
And
Oh man.
you had to entertain. And it was like you and a couple of guys had to do a skit. And here's the thing, whether it was good or not, you got bottles thrown at you. So, that's what it was.
oh,
And
there
and
was
the
one
seniors.
year. There was one year. One of the freshmen. He might have been a sophomore. I can't remember. But it's his first camp. So if it's your first camp, you've got to do skit.
Yes, and it was my first camp, so I
So
had to do a skit. And it was
he,
me.
he begged and pleaded with me. He's like, I need you for this skit. I will do whatever you need the rest of the season. I just need you for it. So he makes up this little rap that he's doing.
Uh,
He finishes it off with me. Because when I would run, I just had he said I looked like the water boy because I just would hit people with so much aggression.
yeah.
And he's like, and Shane looks like the water boy. So I ran with it. I come running out of the hallway, full speed, linoleum floor, and lay his ass out. And he's about to get booed by the whole team.
Yeah.
Everybody's ready to start throwing bottles, and all I hear is boom, straight into him, knocked him flying through the room, and all I hear is this amazing uproar because nobody saw it coming.
And let me guess, he didn't have to do Dawn Patrol the next day because that was the other thing. If your skit sucked, you got Dawn Patrol the next
You
day.
got dog, man.
So
Dog patrol. Let me tell you this, man. I'm gonna say this for if you don't understand Dog Patrol changes your life
It does.
because it teaches you to be accountable.
Hmm.
And that's why I say like Dog Patrol was important and vital. And I'm glad that of all people, you know what I'm saying, it was Coach
Hmm.
Rogers. It made that team, that 99 team, they became a better football team.
Oh,
I'm
without
not
a
gonna
doubt,
lie.
without a doubt.
Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
and the
That
2000
99
team, if it
team,
hadn't been for the injuries, would have been just as good too. We talked about that as well when we interviewed Troy and Michael and all them. Um, but to that skit. So me and Drew Nelson did a skit together, and we reenacted a scene from Scary Movie. It would have been considered a little homo,
Drew
just to just say
Nelson.
Drew Nelson and me did the skit together. But here's the thing:
Drew
as
Nelson played
yeah,
football.
he did that year. He did. He did that year. He was a sophomore, and and that was his
Drew
first
Nelson.
skit.
I love Drew Nelson.
Yeah,
Was
Drew
that Matt
Nelson.
Nelson's brother, right?
Yep,
Not
that was
Matt
Matt
Nelson.
Nelson's brother. Yep,
Yeah,
and so
Drew told my car first day junior year. Yeah,
so
he had that lifted K5 Blazer. I'm driving up. Evan Landers was in front of me. I'm in the middle. Drew's behind me. We're at that light right there next to Western Plaza. I look at my rear view, and all I see is Drew do about 60 down that stretch of Kingston Pike. Right into the back of my car. Totaled it right then and there.
oh my God, wow. Wow, I didn't know that story. So, but anyway, so Drew and me did a skit from Scary Movie. We got bottles thrown at us, but literally the seniors laughed at it. They said they don't get Dawn Patrol, so
Mm.
we're off to the side. The next skit was Landon Wilson, Brandon Bell, and I forget who the third guy was. And literally, dude, they're doing some dances. I mean, they're showing their butt cheeks. It is the funniest thing. They got like their shirts tied up like fake bras. They're shaking like this. They get out of Dawn Patrol. The next skit is the best of all of them. So it's Frank Shelton
Oh,
and
God.
a couple of other guys.
Frankie.
So Frank had befriended one of the church girls there that was serving us in the lunch line,
Of course
and
he
he
did.
was needed. So this is a true story. Frank Shelton literally goes to them and says, "Listen, I don't have a skit idea, and we have to come up with something tonight." And blah blah blah. So she gives them an idea, supposedly, and
Mm.
they're acting it out and everything. So
Sounds pretty
anyway,
bad.
oh, it's beyond terrible. It's
Oh,
straight trash.
it's Frankie. It's
It's
Frankie.
Frankie. It's Frankie. So then what Frankie does is he literally gets certain seniors to participate, and the whole thing was like, okay, so you're starting a candy shop. Oh, okay, great. Well, let me see here. So I've got this guy, and he's going to be the bubblegum stand. So he grabs, like, I'm just going to just say this. He grabs Brandon Bell, and Brandon Bell comes out there, and he's now the gumball stand. Okay, so now you're going to bring him, and he's going to be the register. Okay, so he brings him out and brings the register. And then finally, one of the other guys that was with Frankie doing the skit actually goes, well, if he's this and he's that and she's that or whatever, where's all the candy or whatever like that? And
Mm.
Frankie, here's the punchline. Are you ready for this? Guys, I have never gone on the ground laughing so hard at this because it's like I could replay it in my mind. And if only there was a camera
Mm.
somewhere in that damn mess hall to capture
Mm.
this. He basically looks at everybody and he goes, who needs candy when I got all these suckers? And Rogers looks, Michael Lynn looks, and all you just see is bottles just being as hard as they can. And you hear boo,
That was
boo.
horrible. That was
Man.
horrible.
And he's
Oh,
like this.
God.
Look, he's doing this number right here, like
Oh,
it's like the frog thing on the Great Mouse Detective, getting tomatoes thrown at him and just knocked off stage. It's like you have to watch the Great Mouse Detective to like.
I've got a Frankie story.
And you know what they said? And here's the best thing. Shane, keep your train of thought. So then at the end, Rogers looks at everybody and says, okay, do they get Dawn Patrol or not? Michael Lynn and Jason Day stand up so fast before he even says it. He had Dawn Patrol on top of it. So not only was it a stupid skit, it made me laugh, and I'm still talking about it 20-something years later. They got bottles thrown at them as hard as they could, fell down, and then still ended up doing Dawn Patrol. That is the foursome right there. Tell your story, Shane. Go ahead.
Y'all remember Funscape?
Oh. Dude, we could do a whole show about Funscape. Keep going. So yeah.
Oh man.
We're on like the second or third level, and he's talking to this girl. He's trying to dance with her. He has no clue what he's doing. And I walk up there. I'm like, man, what's up, man? He's like, man, I don't know how to dance with this girl. And I was like, so I just grab the girl, start grinding with her and everything. And his jaw just drops. He's like, I like her. What the? The next week, he's like, so I'm doing that girl. Like, he sees me like 4 or 5 different girls that night. He's like, how do you do it? I was like, it's just me. He was so pissed at me that he would not talk to me the rest of the year.
You know, something about him that was really interesting. Do you know that he spoke Spanish, but I don't even think he was like, maybe he had Spanish heritage in him. I mean, I know I do, but he knew Spanish, and he sometimes got this thought that just spitting some Spanish out would like get girls. Like, I don't know why he thought that. I don't know, but
I think he did that night, and I'm sitting there like, dude, like, you gotta talk to them like they don't understand what the hell you're saying. Like, just talk to them.
You're not Don Juan DeMarco, dude. You ain't Casanova. None of that shit you watch on TV, okay? So come on.
He would get so pissed off, like he'd just see me like go from a girl to girl to girl, and there he'd be like, it's like, I didn't know this side of you. I'm like, yeah, like you should see the girls that I know from my church.
You want to know something? In a way, Frankie reminded me of that guy off of Superbad that would wear that shirt, you know, that like he thought that was the shirt that would do it or whatever. Well, he was a mixture of McLovin and freaking what's his name, Jonah Hill or whatever Jonah Hill's character was. Like he just like had that shirt that he thought that would be the chick magnet or whatever. Even if it had a ketchup stain on it, he would wear it all the time, man. Frankie Shelton. So,
Frankie
and then I swear, I think it was Jason Day, rest in peace. But I remember somebody like power bombed his ass off that dock in that lake at that same camp. I mean, a different day, Frankie got the crap whipped out of him by somebody. Somebody threw like a deck of cards at him and it hit him in the eye. And Channing McDonald had to check like his eye to make sure it was still there and didn't get like knocked out or something. Like they just always found a way to like beat the hell out of that guy sometimes.
Man,
honestly.
Frankie he was a punching bag, man.
He was,
man. Nobody, man. And he gave effort. Like
he did.
He gave effort. But guys, look, because we have a state championship winning team, you lift up guys like Frankie Shelton. Like Frankie Shelton then becomes a beast on that offensive line or defensive line because you know what? He's taking what is said amongst his teammates as fire on the field. You can reverse that real quick. And it's like at that time, we didn't understand that could make guys better. You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand it because now that's why if you are that character on the team, like for every James Freeman, there's a Shane McGee. For every Brian Tate, there's a Jason Day. For every Avery Boss Graves, there's a Doug Madison. For every, Corey Young, there's a Hootie Henderson. For every Larry Williford locking you down on corner, there's a Michael Corton. There's one for every one. But if there's a Justin Jackson, there's a DeBrian Bernardo right behind him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But then you have Frankie, and then you had Frankie. But, I'll tell you this about Frankie. He did actually have some cardio because, he played soccer. People don't remember that. He actually played soccer, and he had to run all that stuff. Coach Gahn used to run them boys like anything. And Frankie, as slow as he was, he never stopped. He was chugging along. So he had some stamina. I'll give him that. Go ahead, Shane.
The one dude I remember. I don't think he ever did anything. Raymond Ray.
Ray was, let me tell you something. You talk about a super fan of West. I don't know whatever happened to Ray. He used to go to all the games.
I know they lived across the street next to the car wash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he still lived there. And his mom used to work at James Food Mart. She used to actually ring us up all them hot dogs we'd get on JV days that we didn't have meals provided for us.
Yeah,
So,
she stole me my first box of condoms.
Hey, let me tell you this.
Whoa.
I remember where I was, where I bought mine. It's now a Marco's Pizza, but it used to be the Weigels by Bluegrass Elementary School. I went in there and bought mine, and I remember the freaking guy's name was Robert, and he worked there at Weigels for years. He was a lifelong employee, and he looked at the box and he goes, "Safe sex is always right, not only new." Like he said something like that, and I was like as embarrassed as anybody could be. Honestly,
There was a dude working the cashier. And she was there, and I was like, "Man, let me get to do. Nope." And I was like, she already tells us embarrassed, like, "I need a box of condoms," and she's like, "Oh, somebody's about to go get some." I was like, "Yeah."
Hey, can I just say this? Where was the Kroger self-scan for us back in the day? Why wasn't that?
Man, we need that self-checkout.
That was exactly. Self-checkout. Yo,
anyway,
that's crazy. Like self-checking. I didn't think about that.
That's what I'm saying, man. You were embarrassed. Like you're kind of walking up there. You gotta have it, but like you're walking up there, and that's embarrassing. And it's like nowadays you could just go to the self-checkout line. Who the hell's gonna check it? The only thing they check for is if you got alcohol or cigarettes, and you're not of age. I mean, come on. So yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So, I will laugh about this though. I guess things have been stolen so much at Walmart that basically all those items are in a glass case and somebody has to open it up for you now, from what I understand. I was walking by there and I was like, "Are you serious right now?" And I guess because people just probably steal it or something, honestly.
Hey, at least they're trying to be safe.
They are trying to be safe. Hey, you know what? So, but back to football camp. But Shane, you shared something with me because I was curious about it myself. We talk about how we went away to LMU, that place down in Cleveland. The other thing was, and Troy talked about it, was the famous Ocoee River story, which was really a building exercise. We went whitewater rafting as a team, but now you're telling me that the two-a-days are done at the school. Yep. And I feel like something is missing about that. I mean, maybe there's the liability involved, the fact that you do have to rely on almost 100 kids or whatever. And look at it's amazing nobody died or got paralyzed with Frankie getting power bombed off a deck, into the lake. But I'm just saying, where is that part of it? Yeah. But here's the other thing too. It must be working if they're doing it at the school and you just won 2 trophies.
I think a lot of it has to do now with like insurance and liability because obviously it's a school sanctioned event. You're allowed, sign permission slip, all that stuff, but then you're gone. But there's 80, 90 kids out there. You've only got however many coaches are on the staff. You can't keep an eye on everyone at all times. Mm-hmm. But I still think they're missing out on it. I think it's the best team building you can possibly do. The trips, like I see now, like I'll be on Twitter or I'll see some of the other teams like, "Oh, we canceled practice today, and we went to the movie theater, or we went and we played kickball, or we ran out of the pool, and the whole team's over there." Like that's cool, but like you want those trips where you're away from everything, and your brothers, and you build those relationships.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, let me just tell you this. I remember one night practice, by the way. I mean, Rogers was so pissed at our effort or what have you that literally they parked the 2 buses and anybody's car that brought their own cars and didn't want to ride the bus, and they put them literally like in a row. And we didn't have football lights out there in the field. Yeah. The headlights were the lights, and they were making us practice, because they just didn't like our effort or whatever throughout the day. And he kept us there late. I remember he did. And you got to think it must have been late enough because in summertime, it don't get dark till 9 o'clock. And for the damn headlights of cars and buses to be going, it was late,
everybody's doing camp right now. I've got practice going on right now. We end at 9 o'clock, and I still got daylight outside.
You still got daylight.
You're going that late. You're talking 9:30, 10.
Yes, and he was mad, and he did it, and it was cool. But leading up to it, one of my favorite things was we must have had dinner earlier that day because Coach Witt, God love Coach Witt. Shout out to Walt Witt and his dad. His dad had beans. We must have had baked beans. And literally, before every play, he was like, all right, everybody line up. He was standing there with his arms crossed and he would crouch and rip one. Honestly, every time. Do you remember that, Shane? And I've never laughed so hard at something. I mean, he ripped them all the time during that practice. Thank God we were outside, not in a closed space. But I mean, he was just tooting away with all them beans. And every time he'd say, oh, those damn beans, oh my God. I mean, he would literally do that every time. And that night practice, between his farting, that night practice, that stands out to me a lot. That practice in particularly,
One of the things that stands out to me, I think, what brought all the seniors here from my class was it was the last day of camp. The moms had brought up a whole bunch of watermelons for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ate the watermelons. We had a full-on watermelon fight.
Oh no, that sounds fun.
We are hurling them at each other. Like, surprisingly, nobody got hurt. It was just, and there's a picture in the senior yearbook from our year where all of us covered in watermelon juice and like holding on and like is that memory sticks in my head still. Like, was it there was one year, I think it was last year I coached middle school before I went back to do it now. And they brought watermelons out for all the kids, and I'm sitting there like, man, y'all don't know what we used to do.
That's awesome.
It was like our last practice before the season started for our jamboree and everything.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I'm not knocking what the kids are doing now because, like I said, keep doing your thing, win these championships, win the games, do your thing, represent the school. I just think that these stories that I've been telling tonight, and anybody else that has any stories that they want to share on the chat box or anything like that from their football camps, those were memories you can't take away from us, like that. That's why Jason Day and Tim Thomas, even though they've passed on and may they both rest in peace. Literally, I swear, I just think to myself, those guys, their stories, their laughs, their jokes live on forever. And I will tell those stories.
Y'all remember Big Joe Slack?
Oh my God, I remember Big Old Joe. Oh my big.
If that boy got moving, he could move. But we were at camp one year. It was when we had two to a room. It was me and Justin Batista. And he picks me up, throws me over his back, and slammed me on my bed.
Oh my gosh.
Broke my bed in half. I was probably weighing maybe like 170, 180. And I was like, I'm never messing with Joe again, but I'm going to run behind his ass.
Hey, you want to know something? Shout out to him and Preston Minot. That was the starting defensive tackles in the 2003 season. By the way, they were. That was a hell of a defensive tackle.
Every bit of 400 pounds.
Oh yeah, he was huge. So yeah.
Hey man, Preston. It's funny you say Preston Minot. Big shout out to Black Famous Tees.
Yes.
Put up, we got to shout out blackfamoustees.com. Preston, hey, we need a whole bunch of Rebel with a Cause t-shirt cartoon characters of Shane O'Mac and the one and only Stallion.
Shout out to
Would he do it? I mean, I'm friends with him, but like he don't get on Facebook that much.
Black Famous Tees. Shout out, hey.
Man.
Put it up, blackfamoustees.com.
Man, they're back when my son was about.
Do I spell it out? Black Famous Tees?
Blackfamoustees.com.
Back when my son.
TES or just TS?
TES, yeah.
TES, okay.
Yeah, shout out. Back when my son was little, he was doing actually custom artwork. Like you could order something like put your kid in there with a bunch of superheroes.
Right.
He did a canvas one of my son with the Ninja Turtles. I still have that to this day.
That's awesome. I love Preston. Preston was always a good dude, man. Always a good dude. So.
Yeah, he did. Man. I reached back out to him. I was like, man, thanks for that that picture you did for my son. He's like, man, I didn't realize that was you. I was like, dude, we've known each other since elementary school.
That's funny. Hey,
But
you know who was a character that camp also as a freshman, by the way, that really stood out. And you talk about, man, was Frankie the walking punching bag? Not only was it the seniors picking on him, he had freshmen freaking dogging him.
Me,
Brian Batiste. Does anybody remember Brian Batiste? He's a friend of mine, or what have you.
oh,
Brian
Brian
Batiste.
Batiste.
And Brian Batiste, like Frankie, was like talking to him and saying, "Man, I'm going to go to college," and blah blah blah. And he goes, "You ain't going to college or what?" Like, he just like dogged him. Like I ain't never seen anybody dog him. And I loved old Brian Batiste, man. He was funny as anything. He really
Brian
was. So,
Batiste,
yeah, Brian
he's a
Batiste.
funny
Shout
guy.
out, man. Shout out to
Brian
Brian
Batiste,
Batiste.
man, he's a good dude.
Oh
Good
my
dude.
goodness! So, and then let me tell you this: for anybody that did go to that camp, everybody remembers that a certain somebody just couldn't wait to go to the bathroom, and that one bus, it got stinky really really bad, unfortunately. So
Whoa.
it was somebody unfortunately had an accident, and that was a long 2-hour drive from Cleveland back to Knoxville, and I'm just glad I was on the other bus because I heard all about it when we got back, honestly.
Oh
So
man, somebody
yep.
had an accident on the bus.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was one of the water boys, and yeah, it was sad.
Oh,
It was very sad. It
oh,
was very very sad.
horrible.
That camp, I mean, anything that could have happened at that
It
camp
happened.
happened at that camp. Honestly, so yeah, I
Mm.
mean, shoot, yeah, and then my favorite was the next year's camp where Coach Mays had that famous thing where he said, "Okay, so I got you with a hurt thumb." I got you with a leg problem. I got you with a hurt ankle. I got you with a concussion. Do I need to go to the town and Walmart and get tampons for everybody? I mean, goodness gracious. And I've never laughed so hard. I mean, Coach
yeah.
Mays, shout out to Coach
I,
Mays.
I, I was one of those who got I had sprained my ankle pretty bad. Like, wasn't a high ankle sprain, but it kept me out of contact for like a week. And God, he ripped me up and down.
Oh man, he would make you feel like you needed to get out there on crutches and like play. Honestly, shoot.
Like, I was really like waiting for the doctor to clear me. Like I was like, I just need the doctor to clear me.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're here. Why aren't you dressed?" I'm like, I kind of need to be able to juke. I don't know what you want me to do.
Honestly, unless the bone was popped out or the leg was missing, he didn't want to hear it. He really did not want to hear it, honestly. So
I ended up making my mom go buy me like a bunch of ankle braces. I was like, just give me every brace you can find. I don't care at this point.
yeah. There was another the Rebel Hell drill was also another
Oh,
memory where I remember poor Jeremy Elsinger, wherever you're at, man, you were a funny dude. Shout out to you. You were class of, I think, 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So, but Jeremy Elsinger got absolutely blasted by Colin Carmichael, or it was either Colin or oh God, who was it? It was either Colin or Eric Justice just laid him out like I've never seen anybody get laid out before. And he was kind of
What was the one where we ran from sideline to sideline and we had 4 quarters? What was that?
I forget what it was called, but I know what you're talking about. We did it that year too. We did that one as well.
I remember by like senior year and Coach Cummings had taken over, it was if I wasn't in the top 3, I was redoing the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And like literally, but that Rebel Hell drill, Jeremy Ersinger gets absolutely blasted. And I remember, I forget who the coach was that said it, and he goes, this isn't a little boy drill. And freaking Rogers just goes, and he's a little boy. Get off the field. Like, I mean, he just absolutely just, so not only did he get pounded, he got insulted and just walked off the field. And I just sat there and I was like, man, that's just rough. That he's a little boy. I mean, oh my goodness. So yeah, get off the field. I mean, there were some. The camp is rough. And Shane, I wanted to ask you something. So they've just finished the second day of two-a-days. What goes on in the camp? During these two-a-days. Obviously, they're implementing the playbook. There's spots being competed for. The Oklahoma drills. Talk about what is going on with the team right now.
You're seeing right now who can hack it and who is understanding everything going on. And you're throwing a lot at kids really quick to see who understands what they're doing, when they're, and how to do it, and knows their assignment. It's all about assignment and alignment. Like, can you line up where I need you to be at? Can you understand this play? Do you understand the route you're about to do? Do you understand the hole you're about to hit? Are you about to go block this? Like you You've got to learn to push through the mental aspect of being tired and understand, like, okay, am I hurt or am I injured? Those are two separate things. And a lot of kids, at least that I've seen, of course, I don't coach at the high school level, which I did, would love to. But even like kids going in there right now, it's like, oh, I got a bruise on my arm. I was like, suck it up and go back out there. It's going to hurt. You got to be able to. You got to be able to play through the pain. Like as coaches, we know if something's seriously wrong with you. We've all been doing it long enough where we understand, like, okay, you're actually injured right now. I'm going to pull you out of this play, but pay attention to what's going on. Compared to, oh, I got a bruise or my knee hurts or my hip hurts. Suck it up. This is football. This is what you signed up for. You're probably mentally exhausted. You need to take care of your body, rehab like you need to at the end of the day, and come back out tomorrow ready to better yourself. Each day is an opportunity to get better and better. And if you're not taking every opportunity you have to get better and better, you're letting your whole team down.
Shane, I wanted to follow up with you on another question in regards to the, not only taking care of your body, but, the hurt. I mean, because you did bring up an interesting point. With a team this stacked, I mean, you're already competing for limited starting positions, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. You obviously want to get out there and play. But my question is, where do you draw the line of how much physicality takes place in a camp where you don't want those certain key guys that are the game changers and difference makers of getting hurt? Talk about that.
You make sure that they understand what their job is. Of course, they're a star, they understand their job. You're going to limit a lot of their reps because you already know that they're set at their position. So you need to find your 2, your 3 for when something drastic does happen. Like I won't run my quarterback and my starting running backs a ton. Like, okay, we're doing install today. I need you to understand this. All right, now that you've got it, bring my 2s, bring my 3s. I need to know who your backup is. I need to know who can come in and fill in this role for 2 or 3 plays while you get breathing right back out here. And if you don't see a lot of two-way guys anymore, but even then, like you limit how much they get hit, how much pounding their bodies will take. Because you need them for all 10 games plus a playoff run. You want to make sure that they are at top-notch, healthy, ready to go. But you also want to make sure their body is conditioned enough to take those hits. Like, I came back, okay, one's out here, okay, you understand the plays? Okay, everybody off the field, give me my 2s, and I go full speed at that. Like, no, like, I got to make sure you can take a hit, give a hit, and get right back up and go do the same thing over and over. And I will control your reps to make sure that your body is okay. But you've got yourself also. You got to make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're mentally prepared every day when you step out there on that field.
Yeah,
I agree.
Today, me and the other coaches ripped into all of our players because they looked like crap. They were walking off the field. My rule as a coach, and every coach I've ever had, is if you step on this field, you are running or jogging to every drill. If I see you walk, go hit the hill. Because we have a big ass hill over at Carnes, and I will make you run that till I get tired of watching you.
Let me ask you this too, Shane, and Two-Pair, you can kind of chime in on this as well. Think about what these seniors are about to face. Not only is it their senior year, and we've talked about this, but look what they're following up, because they have been very vital. A lot of guys, the Wyatt DeRoches, the Antoine Burdines, Jack Keats, they've contributed in these last 2 state championships, and now they're the guy. But here's the other thing too. It's a good senior class. It had a lot of promise coming in. They were 8th grade champs. The thing is that they're now having to uphold a legacy of, can you win that 3rd straight? Something that's never been done in 5A. Furthermore, they're following up the 2 most winningest senior classes. 22 had it for 1 year until 23 did it. They run the table. They could be the new winningest senior class. Go for it. Talk to me.
You got a lot of you got big shoes to fill. You don't want to be that team that doesn't live up to the hype and expectations that were already there. That's my opinion. I mean, pedestal's here. Can you break it? Like you have the mountain to climb, and you've got to be the targets on their back. You're going to get everybody's 100% A game for all 4 quarters, all season
Yeah,
long.
it's still the fact of West is the hunted, but they still remain the hunter.
Yeah. Like I
If
saw
you look,
on social media, I think it was on TikTok, there's somebody like picking who's going to be winners for each region this year. Paige is predicted to win it. So use that as bulletin board material.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this, guys, right now. I went over to Page High School in April with my wife, and they that facility over there is second to none. Their building looks like it's incredible. It's incredible. And their football field is something out of Friday Night Lights, like Varsity Blues, Texas type football. They've got that trailer that takes them everywhere. The fact that they have finished second place for 3 straight years, I don't know if they don't do it this year. I know that they'll always be talented. Rathbone runs a hell of a program over there. But I guess what I'm getting at is, literally speaking, what in the world would they do if they lost to West for, forget the 4th straight year, but you lost to West 3 straight years in the state championship game? I mean, that's a head thing at that point. Or maybe we're just better.
I think we just play a different brand of football. We play a different brand of football, and it's not. It's no knock on what Page does. They're an incredible program, but the difference between their program and our program is we play with a certain discipline. Even the way we talk about our kids on the show, we talk about it with a certain discipline.
Mhm.
We talk in it in a way that we're respectful of our opponent, but when we count the days, we count the weeks, we count the months, the proof is in the pudding. And that pudding tastes good twice. That
Mhm.
pudding tastes good twice.
Yeah. And we are the beasts of the East. I mean, when that poll comes out, and listen, we know what preseason polls are about. It's for people like us and all those shows on ESPN to talk about, to give
Yeah, it
something to
is.
talk about. And it's fun to talk about. But at the end of the day, the results on the field, like, for example, West didn't even start preseason number 1 last year, but the minute they beat Bearden, guess who got jumped up to number
Yeah.
1? Honestly.
And really, I really think, Coach Brown is putting this program on a national level. When you're in that top 100, you're one of the top 100 programs
And we are.
in the nation.
Public and private. Make sure that we
Public,
say that.
public,
And
public
private.
and
Yes.
private.
Yes, sir.
Public and private.
Yeah.
Both sectors. We're a national program, and when you're a national program, you play with a certain different type of player, and it's entertaining football. But the kids, they're in that weight room, they're in there studying, they are looking at film. Like, it is really impressive to see the program, the way it is, and the way the alumni are giving back to the school, and just looking at the next few years, the program below is even coming up, man.
hmm hmm Shane, how quick do you think? I mean, obviously this week is camp. We know we've got those scrimmages coming up. I will get those confirmed the minute that I know where they'll take place. The question is when they'll take place.
Yeah.
But at what point do we have kind of like that final roster, that final that 2 deep chart, at this point or whatever like that? When do you think?
There's 2 scrimmages?
There's 2 scrimmages, yes, and then you got the jamboree, the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
You will see most of your starters that first scrimmage, making sure they understand everything. That second scrimmage, you'll probably get maybe 2 series out of them, and then it's going to be who's my solid backups.
Yeah.
Time for everybody to get some live game reps that we know we're going to need to count on.
No, it's here, guys, and and like I said, I gave a shout out to all those boys to have a healthy, safe camp, leave it out there. Great, best of luck this season, and do their thing, And I think that, like I said, I stand by what I said at the beginning. Until somebody knocks us off the perch, and Two-Pair, I think you couldn't have said it more beautifully. Yes, we are the hunted, but we are still hunters of banners, hunters of trophies, and hunters of rings, and we ain't stopping. We ain't done. We ain't done yet.
No,
So,
they're not done by a long shot.
no. This is the second inning. This is the third inning, as far as I'm concerned. To take a page out of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns' book, this is the second or third inning at this point. So,
the way I talked about earlier this season is summer workouts were your first quarter. This is second quarter. Get everything ready to build up your lead before halftime.
Yep.
Your season's third quarter, and fourth quarter is where you win it all.
That's it. That's it. And let me just tell you this, and this is no disrespect to the other teams. I know that they work hard. They've got great coaches, great players, but I'm going to tell you this. This program, and I want to state that, it's not just a team. It's a program. It's culture.
It's a program, yeah.
This is starting to elevate to how Maryville would win on the field before the damn teams ran out of and broke the sign. And there are great teams on this schedule that also have that same respect. And that's when the iron goes against each other. Then you see who wins it in those 48 minutes. But you get what I'm getting at.
Football in East Tennessee has gotten so much better.
It's amazing. The East is actually better than Nashville and Memphis, and that wasn't the case 25 years ago.
I mean, you got West. Also, we got West. We got Maryville. Bearden's making a good run. You got
Anderson County.
You got Anderson County.
Greenville.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous talent around here now.
And here's the other thing too. If you're even going to throw this out there, Catholic has done good. I mean, Fulton had a nice run there for a bit. And here's the thing. I know it's not East Tennessee, but it's still part of the eastern part of the state. Chattanooga Baylor and Chattanooga McCallie are just killing it on the private school level. And it ain't even fair. And Webb also at that Division II of the second largest classification in the private school league.
What I've loved seeing now is, back in our day, it was the private schools. Like, they just dominate. If you were as Coach Rogers or Coach Cummings once said, if it wasn't for Webb, Catholic, and CAK, West would have been amazing, because all those stud athletes that lived in our school zone all got scholarships there.
Mm-hmm. And had special buses pick them up if they weren't already driving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if those kids went to West,
all the schools are dominant.
If those kids went to West, think of how great West would have, like.
Oh, God.
West would have had some gap, like CAK, Webb, Catholic. And if you would really have a Bearden West rivalry. Like that's the Bearden West Farragut rivalry right there.
Yeah, because Bearden had a lot of kids that were zoned for Bearden High that were going to Catholic and CAK respectively. Yeah. They were too. And let me throw this one out there too. Let's not also forget, and I mentioned this before, I went to Bearden that freshman year. And it's not that I wasn't challenged academically, guys, but when I went to West and the teachers that we talked about that now are at AJ doing this thing, I mean, and then some of them became administrators and ran their schools respectively, like a Salee Reynolds and everything like that at Hardin Valley. But what I'm getting at is that I feel that West now has the IB program, which is very good academically, gets kids, attracts kids, and you start college as a sophomore because you've got so many college credit classes being taken as a high school. I felt our classes were so challenging that we were already an IB program
Yeah.
before we became an IB program. So if that was even in place then, forget about the kids going to Webb or Catholic or CAK. They have the academics and the athletics, and that would have been 20-something years ago.
Because also my kids are in high school. One of my daughters is still in high school. Like the things that I was doing school-wise that they've done, like we were above and beyond academically.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like there's things like they haven't even done yet. I'm like, how have you not done this? I was doing full-on like 20-page reports and speaking in front of the whole class regularly. Like there was no break. Like I was coming home from practice, coming home from work, and doing homework till 1 o'clock in the morning, and repeating the next day, and waking up at 7 a.m.
Let me tell you something, guys. Tootie McCook's senior English class was harder than English 101 and 102 at UT. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm.
Tootie McCook's senior English class at West was harder than my English 101 and 102 at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, respectively.
Mm.
Yeah, I had Coach Ash for senior English.
He was tough too.
Yeah.
He was them two, and then let's not even forget Mr. Ross, who taught the AP English kids or whatever. I'm talking. I took standard CP, and that was like an AP class. I felt like.
Yeah, like my daughter takes AP class. I think she takes AP classes now, or might be college. I can't remember.
Mhm.
But like the level of what we went through to what she does now, I'm like, it's a cakewalk.
Mhm.
But I would have killed for your class load.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So like I said, I mean, it's different eras and all that, but like I said, I look at our school, I look at our program, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of this show. I'm
Very
proud
proud
to
of
talk
it.
about the accolades. And you know what? Here's the other thing too. Anybody that hates on it, like, and I'll tell you this. You talk about CoachT.com and the message boards and so forth like that. I'm waiting for the first post about our show on Coach T. I'm waiting for it. I really am. I haven't seen it yet. But when I think about things like of how they talk about West, oh, the district's lines changed, helped them. Da, ba, ba, ba. Why don't you just give credit where credit's due? Because nobody gave a crap about West when we were only winning 2 or 3 games a year. But now because we are who we are, you're going to hate or what have you. I mean, why don't you just give credit where credit's due? A program got built and it's been sustained through a couple of different coaches. There were some rough years, but championships have been won by 2 different coaches at this program and has been more successful than not in the last 20 years. Am I right, Shane? And you talking from the other side.
Correct. You are correct. Like I wish we had this. I wish we were this program when we were there.
Yeah.
I wish we had this support. I wish we had all the stuff that they've got going on. Like it would have been amazing for it to been that way back in our day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and here's the thing. Not that I'm a Bearden fan by any means, as we all know, but I respect what Josh Jones is doing over there. Like, look, is he recruiting? Whatever. He's trying to build a program, and he's trying to do it at flashlight word speed. Because look who he's going up against. I mean, he's going up against the Catholics, the West, who have already established themselves as champions.
Yeah.
Bearden has champions in other sports, trophies in other sports,
Yeah.
but they don't have football. They have baseball. They've got basketball. They've got soccer on both sides. They've got the #1 women's soccer team in the country.
Back to back.
And they've only tied that team from New York. That wasn't even a loss before I even get into that.
Yeah.
And that could have just been considered a hot Saturday in the fall. I don't know.
Even their dance team.
The dance team has won, 3 years in a row or something at Disney?
7 national championships.
Yes.
The dance coach is the highest paid coach at that school.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying is in a school that's only going to get bigger with more kids as they keep building these neighborhoods, that apartment complex I mentioned about. And so the thing is that I like competition, and I'm looking forward to a hell of a game on August 24th.
I don't think the rivalry is as big as it was when we were there because half of the student body, I mean, so if you took Beer Mill was the main feeder, you had Northwest. But the Bearden kids all lived around me. Like, you split the line down the middle of true West, the early part of West Knoxville. You had half Bearden, half West, and that we all knew each other. Now I'll say that's the Bearden Farragut rivalry. Now it's always been that way, but the rivalry isn't the same because it's not those kids going to school together like they did, to where it's like I want to be better than my buddy I've grown up with since elementary school. We just happen to live on opposite side of Morrell or Van Osdale or any of those roads, because now that line has moved so far over towards North Shore and Ebenezer that only 5%
Mhm.
of Middle's population goes to Bearden.
Two-pair, let me ask you this. Shane brings up a good point. I mean, so let me ask you this. So what's Bearden's incentive? You've got these players that are transferring from other programs. So it's not that they grew up against the West kids. It's almost like, do we want to beat West because they've been to the promised land and they've won 5 years in a row? It's not like, yo, I played with this guy, in Pee Wee, and it's like, he's at that school, I'm at this school.
Mhm.
It's kind of hard to explain, but do you get what I'm getting at? Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
their
yeah.
incentive to win besides, obviously you start 1-0 and you knock off the defending back-to-back champs, but is it the rivalry that really wants you to beat West, honestly?
Well, it's the thing of if you got a chance to knock West off the pedestal, because we're creating a huge hype, but it's warranted just given what we know. Um, that leaves Bearden to say, well, there are guys on their podcast that even mentioned one player off this team. We have it. It's because we're solely focused on getting better each day because we're that much closer to the game. Like
Yeah, we are.
we're not that far away.
We're 4 Saturdays. We're
We're
four
four
Saturdays.
Saturdays away from the game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
like
that's
four,
huge.
that
That's
is huge.
huge.
Four
That's
Saturdays
not
is
long. That's not long at all.
it's not long.
How many days are they practicing for camp right now?
Well, I guess, they got the 5 days this week, or the two-a-days, and then next week is literally the regular practice schedule, like where you show up at 3:30 and so
Yeah.
forth. And then, if I'm not mistaken, teachers have to go back late next week, and then the kids start that following Monday, the 5th, if I'm not mistaken, Shane. I mean, your daughter's a senior. I don't know what
Yeah,
that's
my
like.
son's starting middle school. So I think orientation for both middle school and freshman, or sixth graders and freshmen, is like the 6th. Yeah, I think school's
Okay.
great.
Okay, so literally we're less than 2 weeks away
Yeah.
from school starting at that point. And so basically, based off of that, that's why I think that first scrimmage is that Friday, the second, and then the following week, the 9th, is
Yeah,
that
like
second
literally
scrimmage,
like
and
next
the
week is
jamboree is
the
the
last
following
week.
week.
But
So
literally like next week's like the last full week of summer vacation.
wow.
Yeah, next week's the last full week of summer vacation.
Yeah. And that's it. And then so that's, yeah. I mean, it's like what Parker Dubon's mom said. Shout out to Sandra. Literally, as soon as 4th of July is over, and if you've got a kid that's involved in sports or what have you, especially at the high school level, summer's over. Or
Yep.
summer's over and it's time. Like, that's basically how it rolls. So yeah, yeah. Guys, this has been such a great show. We've talked about West, probably the most that we've talked about it, because we had
Yeah,
so many stories and so many storylines coming into it. I almost want to give a shout out to Romero and see if, because their season starts slightly before football, I'd love to get the girls soccer coach on, whoever that gentleman is. I think
yeah.
he's been there for a couple years now, and I'd love to get him on to talk about their team, because you talk about a schedule that's brutal. They have Bearden, who is the #1 team in the country that they have to face, and Farragut's girls are good. Hardin Valley's girls are good. They play in a very tough district,
And those games
and
have always been close.
yeah,
It's always been a close game between Bearden and West.
yeah, yeah. We've always been like the bridesmaid in that game, like
Yeah.
in girls soccer, it seems, and
Yeah.
haven't gotten over that hump. But this girls soccer team 2 years ago made their first ever state run. And so I wonder how they're going to be this year. Last year they still had a good season. They didn't quite make it back to state, but I wonder if this year's team has what it takes to get back to that state level, even with competing with the Farragut's and the Beardens. So I'd love to have their coach on just to preview that season. The
Yeah.
volleyball coach, I'd love to have them on just to talk about their team and what they look like this year. Honestly, since we have access to all the coaches, so that would be amazing to have you guys on. So whoever would like to be on. Rebels with a Cause before your seasons start, respectively, here very soon. So, yeah. Guys, I know we had a couple of banners we wanted to talk about. Two pair, go first. What did you want to talk about other than Rebel football? I got them up. So, what do you want to talk
Other
about?
than Rebel football, the AAU is wrapping up, and Peach Jam. If you guys got to tune in, I want to say Bradley Bill and Team CP3 played up against each other. A really good game. I didn't even get to see the end of it. I'm so mad. I really want to commend the players for their AAU teams. Just the way AAU season has been, man. Like Gilbert Arenas' son, Elijah, um, who's played with USA and their under team. Um, Carmelo's son, Kyan Anthony, who's looked really good this summer. Really good. Um, like the one thing about like AAU basketball is you really get to see teams play deep. Like you get to see some teams like really lock up when it's more so running gun, but there's so many eyes on you. But yeah, man, from the AAU world, it was some really good basketball played down in Atlanta. The EYBL, the Boozer twins. I think this is their last hurrah
Yep.
before going to college.
And let me tell
Yeah,
you something, Miami is very much in the thick of that race of getting both of them, by the way, down there, because they're not
really,
as close with their father as they are with their mom. And, they've been established in Miami for a while. So Larinaga, don't think that it's automatic they're going to Duke, by the way. So just
really.
just to keep that in mind. That could be a Miami steal right there. And then not to
Mm.
mention this kid, please forgive me if I say his last name wrong, but he almost is like transcending type of recruit. AJ Dibansa out of Utah. He's the #1
Oh, yeah,
recruit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
kid,
yeah, yeah,
yo,
yeah.
yo. I mean,
Yo,
so yeah,
yeah, man. That yeah, this year's circuit was really nice, man. Like I really enjoy watching the Boozer twins from what I've got to see of them. I
hmm
really enjoyed watching them.
yeah. No, there's some high profile dudes, and this a lot of coaches are really going after those 2025 kids for sure, like what you mentioned. So yeah, for sure. So two pair. Sorry, Shane. What about you, man? What did you want to talk about? So.
I actually don't really have anything right now.
Really? I got something for you guys real quick because there were two things that I wanted to cover before we signed off, and it's been a great show as always. And shout
Oh
out to the
man,
chat. So yeah.
we got to talk about USA basketball too.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's do that. Hold on. Let me make a banner, and we'll go from there. So I know South Sudan almost beat them with Kaman Maluak and Luol Deng coaching
Mm,
them, but
yes,
shout out to Luol Deng. There we go. USA basketball, go.
yeah. So um, I wanna say this. We can't take we can't take other teams lightly because I saw Paul Pierce and Skip Bayless and Keyshawn Johnson like joking on South Sudan, and they almost pulled up a huge upset. I get it, guys. You guys are at the highest level. You guys are incredible, but like we at that age where we kind of know that the world is caught up in the
Mhm.
game of basketball. Like, see, the dream team, they faced, was it how many guys was in the NBA? Like nine, six or
Let me see.
nine?
Everybody but Laker.
Everybody but Leitner. Leitner was the college player of the year that got to go. So yeah.
Right. But
Mhm.
the Olympians that they faced back then, was it like it was about six guys in the league, maybe nine.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the other teams. Yeah, there was maybe like one or two on
Right.
each team. Yeah, it was not fair. Yeah.
And only prominent one that was even on the U.S. team was Tony Kukoc.
Yeah.
And Drazen Petrovic and Vladi Divac and Sarunas Marshallonis.
Was
Those
Detlef
guys.
Schrempf on a team? Maybe Detlef Schrempf.
Germany.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know if he played for Germany
I
yet,
don't know
but
if he did or not. So, but yeah.
Bill Winnington, Canada. But this is what I'm saying. The USA, they're playing up against 41 guys that are in the NBA.
Canada
Little
has a bunch of
different.
guys. Canada has a bunch of dudes.
Bunch
So,
of guys. But that's what I'm saying. They're playing up against NBA guys too. It's just the certain match of NBA guys. We're taking our best of the best of the star quality guys. If that's what the world feels. It's such a different game in international basketball. International basketball is not played like NBA. International basketball is played like international. Like you can't get away with playing the way it was in 92, 96, in 2000. Hell, you learned in 2004. You know, everybody points to that one. But after 2004, you understood how to put a team together. Like you put a bunch of vets with some young guys. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Now you got to put the right vets with the right vets. And as much as I love LeBron James is at the age where he don't need to be putting the team on his shoulders. Like
LeBron's our age.
yeah.
Yeah. He's all right. He's the best player, but he's at the age where he wants to get championships. And LeBron's playing like it's game 7. Like LeBron is playing it's game 7 every game he's played. In the few games that he's played in this.
I almost wonder if this is I think maybe realization is hit that he's not going to get 6 rings or 7 rings at this point, and maybe his legacy is how many gold medals on the world stage, to being the flag bearer on Friday with those opening ceremonies. I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna tell you this: you talk about Bayless and all them clowning South Sudan. That's disgusting from a standpoint that here's the deal: this kid, and I'm going to be talking about him as we have more shows and college basketball starts. This kid going to Duke, Kaman Malawak, they say he's better. He's raw, but he's better now than Joel Embiid was. And you saw him the other night against Team USA, honestly. And some people are saying he could be a top 3, top 5 pick when the NBA draft rolls around in June. He's just going to do his 1 year stop at Duke, but his measurables are off the chart. He's 7'2", 250. Raw, like I said, but his standing reach is well over 8 feet tall. I mean, and he can shoot and make 3-pointers. I mean, this guy, could be
but
something.
That's what I'm saying. The world is caught up.
They are, and the African team has a bunch of guys that you're going to see going to play the college game, if not go straight to the NBA like these French Jews are doing, or what have you. So,
it's like when people want to Jones on them and call them the air up there and Cool Runnings, and I'm like, hold on. First off, Cool Runnings was a Jamaican team. You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Gilbert Arenas, because I love all these guys' podcasts. Like, you guys inspire us. But it was like, dude, like, let's be real, man. Like, y'all know how international competition is. It's a different level of pride. Like, look at all those FIBA World Cups teams. Like, you remember when KD went crazy in the FIBA World Cup, and we just was like, oh wow, he's arrived as one of the better players. Like, he led this FIBA World Cup team. Like, he was the best player in that whole tournament. And that's why you were like, okay, well, USA's in safe hands.
Mhm.
Because if we're winning the FIBA World Cup, that's the way I gauge it. You got to win the World Cup.
You have to. You have to win
You,
the Olympics. Yeah.
you got to win the World Cup, and then you got to win the Olympics.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because if you don't win the World Cup, and then you get a bronze. If you get a bronze in, it's either gold or nothing.
It is. It is.
It's gold or nothing.
That's a great transition because I did want to bring up the Olympics quickly and so forth like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the deal. You have 500 something athletes in the different sports going to be their representative.
500,
The U.S.
594,
594,
594,
you know,
95.
and let me tell you this, there's certain sports that I love watching. We've talked about it, the track, the gymnastics, the swimming.
Mm,
And let me tell you this, last Olympics, Australia kicked America's ass in a lot of those events, especially on the women's side. I'm wanting to see if Katie Ledecky has kind of a redemption this time around. I want to also see what Simone Biles brings. You know, her heart wasn't in it 3 years ago. It was still coming off of the stuff with COVID, and you know she dropped out. She's got something to prove. You know, this Olympics. Not that she really has to. I'm actually surprised they allowed a 27-year-old on there. That's usually the girls have the teenagers, you know, and so
Oh,
forth. But
she's
she's on there.
she's just that good though.
She's like the best ever. Like she's the best ever. So she's got a redemption story. But I guess my whole thing of it is that I love watching the red, white, and blue dominate, and I don't care what sport it is. If it's polo, water polo, beach volleyball, I want to win as many gold medals as possible, not just because we had more athletes than everybody, but the quality of the athlete in those respective sports, if that makes sense. So, and it all
mm,
kicks off cycling Saturday morning because that's always the first thing. Those poor guys don't even get to ever participate in the opening ceremony. They only do the closing ceremony because they're one of the first events and have to be in bed because they have to be up at the beginning of dawn for that first event. So they miss
mm,
out on stuff. I even remember Michael Phelps missed out on some stuff in the swimmers because they have their opening heats that they have to do that first morning to qualify for the events that are shown at night and everything. So they miss out sometimes on the festivities. So keep that in
wow.
mind when you watch those opening ceremonies. Not everybody gets to be there to participate. And this thing is supposed to be a spectacle where they're coming in on boats and the fans are lined up on that waterway as they lead up to the Eiffel Tower. It's going to be amazing on Friday. I'm not going to be able to get
Wow.
to watch it, but I'm definitely going to record it. So it would be worth something because it's something that you'll never see again because the next Olympics will be in LA and I'm sure they'll be want to introduce the athletes, but to come in on boats, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's
So yeah,
crazy.
that's cool. So
That's crazy.
last thing I want to bring up, guys, because we have to. Um, WWE Wrestling SummerSlam is shaping up. Next Saturday is SummerSlam in Cleveland. It's got some big
Mm,
matches already planned. But you know, Monday night, the Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Ray Ripley. You got Jey Uso kind of sneaking around in there. Um, I do have to laugh at this. I absolutely loved that Dominic Mysterio's basically Dirty Dom went from English to Spanish to basically tell Liv Morgan off, called her crazy, called her that she ruined his life, breaks her little heart, and she cries. And God, those shorts,
mm.
guys. Oh my God, Liv Morgan. But I guess my question is this setting up for Dominic Mysterio to turn on Ray Ripley and be with Liv Morgan next Saturday? What do y'all think? Just
I
curious.
think I think they keep building the storyline. I
Okay.
I think you close it out at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know how long they let it go. Like where's the end game?
Hmm.
That's what I always like to see with a storyline. If you throw this twist in the plot, where does it fall in line in the end game of to where it goes with the relationship between Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio? Like, where is it interwoven to where he's having all these troubles? Like, will it interfere with the matches like coming up too?
Yeah.
So,
And here's the other thing too. Shane, did they put the title back on Rhea? Because technically she didn't lose it. She had to give it up for a shoulder injury slash getting married. I mean, does she win it back or do they let Liv retain like they did let Liv retain when she beat Ronda Rousey a couple years ago? Just throwing that out
mm,
there.
Yeah, there's a
Here,
lot going on.
here's the twist I see. Somehow, so they'll go for the title, and somehow Dom screws Rhea.
I wonder if that's going to be the end play. So, and here's another match. You got the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre match with Seth Rollins being the special guest referee. That match intrigues me. But then the other thing, does Roman Reigns come back and screw Solo out of beating Cody Rhodes? Does Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, make his appearance at SummerSlam and screw
Right. That's what we've been hearing forever. Is that SummerSlam is, or at least that's what we all believe, is they'll be back at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So
Be interesting
but
to see.
then that turns into the story of Bloodline versus Bloodline. So.
Yeah. And you know what? That would be your start of that, because Survivor Series, they have other pay-per-views, but Survivor Series is the big four, and that finishes out your fourth quarter in terms of wrestling and so forth like that. Now you're in the third quarter of wrestling with SummerSlam of the big four. So yeah. Guys, that's all I got. I mean, great show. Unless there's something else you guys wanted to talk about. I mean, it was.
Hey, we definitely got to talk about the WNBA All Stars.
We do.
The WNBA All Stars beat
the Olympic team.
The Olympic team.
Yep. And here's the other thing too. We got to see something. We never got to see it before. But this Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, that's now the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. We never saw them on the same team. We remember Magic and Larry were always on the opposite side, whether it was the Eastern or Western Conference, except for Dream Team. So realistically, they played well together, and they even had a respect for each other, saying how they complemented each other's game. One was a good passer, one was a great rebounder, and they're bucket getters. I mean, they know what they got to do. So, yeah, I mean, they know they need each other to make the brand and make the money, honestly.
They are leading the brand. And how about Enrique Abagunwale?
Mm-hmm.
How about Abagunwale going crazy for 34?
Yeah.
34 or was it 35?
Who does she play for? She plays for what team?
The Dallas Wings. Dallas Wings.
Yes.
How about Enrique Abagunwale? Abagunwale. I missed her name. I'm sorry.
No, I think you said it really good, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
But no, man, like her and I mean Angel Reese put up another double in the All-Star game as a rookie. With like Caitlin had over
tons of assists. I know that.
I think she had 10 assists.
Yeah, easily. So, can I throw this out there real quick? One last shout out. Shout out to the Miami Heat NBA Summer League team. They did win. So 6-0. I'll take it. We got to get something, man. We got to get something.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Khalil Ware, Alondis Williams. Is it? Hold on. Let me get this right.
Jamie Jaquez was on that team too.
Oh, Cole Swider.
Yeah, Cole Swider. I forgot about old Cole.
Cole Swider.
Yeah.
But my guy though, Williams. I think he played at Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
He's on it. Yeah, he played at Wake Forest. Man, he had the dunk of the summer.
He did.
He had the dunk of. He brought that thing from
Tomahawk. Bam.
That was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that was wild.
I had to give a shout out. To
Yeah. Hey, yo, Khalil Ware.
Great draft pick. Great pick.
Great pick. Great pick.
I'll tell you one thing. If they can gel with the veterans, I mean, they could have a good team. They could really have a good, surprising team.
I like Williams, though. I like Williams a lot. Williams is what I'm banking on, man. And I would if we can find a roster spot for Swider.
They got to find something for him, man. They got to.
Swider is just a good vet, man. He's played. I feel like I've seen Swider in summer league at least 3 times
with the Heat, and he was also with the Cleveland Cavaliers too, wasn't he as well? If I'm not mistaken.
Was he with the Cavs?
No, maybe he's from Cleveland. Lakers. The Lakers, but he's from Cleveland. He played at Cleveland College or something. Like I think he's from Cleveland.
He was from Syracuse. Hold on.
Cole
Where did
Swider?
Cole Swider go to school with?
I swear I thought he went to
Hold on.
Cleveland. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
That's a good question. I'm so sorry, Cole. I
He's
did
from
not.
Portsmouth, Rhode Island. He went to St. Andrew's School. He was undrafted.
Okay.
Um,
What the same? What? So what?
oh, he's Villanova. He's a Villanova dude. He's
He's a
another
villain.
Villanova guy.
What
Yep.
year? What year? He
Yeah.
wasn't on a.
He
He wasn't on
went.
the.
It would have been in 2001. I think the team that went. He was probably on the team that went to the Final Four and lost. So.
Swider was
Yeah. Yeah.
Cole
Yeah.
Swider.
Oh, you want to know something? Check this out. You're right about Syracuse. He played on Villanova from 2018 to 2021, so he was on that Final Four team. He
Okay,
finished his senior year at Syracuse. He played 2021, 2022
that's where I remember
in
him from.
Syracuse. So yes,
Syracuse. I
yeah,
thought
but
he went to
he got
Syracuse.
himself a ring at Villanova though. I think he
He
did.
did. He
Yeah,
did.
he got
He
himself
did
a
get a
ring.
ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
did
yeah,
get
he
himself
played
a
with the
ring.
Lakers. He was also on their NBDL team, the South Bay Lakers,
Yeah.
and he was on he's on the Heat roster now. So yeah, yeah. So
Hey, he's a good vet, man.
six
He's a
eight,
real good
six
vet.
eight, only 25 years old, 220. So yep.
I hope like there's another guy we're missing off that summer league team. Williams, Khalil Ware, Jaquez. There's somebody else, Swider. There was another guy on that team we
Yeah, here, let me give
missing.
you the roster real quick. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Gabe Brown out of Michigan State,
Yes.
J.C. Butler out of UC Irvine, Josh Christopher out of ASU.
Josh Christopher. That's who it
Yeah,
is. We're
yeah,
missing
out of
Josh Christopher.
ASU. Yep.
Yeah.
Caleb Daniels out of Villanova, Jamie Jaquez out of UCLA, Keyshawn Johnson out of Arizona,
Jaime.
Jaime,
Jaime.
yeah, Jaime
Jaime.
Jaquez, yes. My name too. Pele Larson out of Arizona, Zion Pullen out of Florida, Neil
uh,
Sacco out of France, Isaiah Stevens out of Colorado State, Cole
Colorado
Swider out of
State.
Syracuse, Khalil Ware out of Indiana,
Indiana.
Bryson Warren out of Sioux Falls Skyforce, Warren Washington out of Texas Tech, and last but not least, Alondis Williams out of Wake Forest.
Alondis Williams, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I can't wait for Alondis Williams. Like this guy. This guy. Let me tell you, Shane. Bounce. He got bounce, Shane.
Oh damn!
He got bounce. Like Alondis Williams. Please look it up, y'all. Summer League Dunk of the Year. Summer League Dunk. It's probably like one of the best Summer League dunks I've ever seen. This is up there. This is up there with Kai
It's
Jones
worth looking at.
dunking
It's
on
worth looking at.
Wimbiana.
By
Yeah.
the way, the three NBA summer league teams that absolutely stink. Just to
Who
let you
stunk?
know,
What team
Atlanta
stunk?
Hawks went 0-5. Milwaukee Bucks went 0-5, and the New Orleans Pelicans went 0-5. By the
How do
way,
you not win a game in Summer League?
they stink.
Stinks. How do you not win one game in Summer League?
They suck. They're
One.
terrible. I mean, hell,
One.
even the damn let's see here, the Mavericks went 1-4, the Pacers went 1-4, and the OKC.
Not five dunks of the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, hell, even the Charlotte or the Hornets won a couple of summer league games, which is amazing. They went 4-1. So yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah. The Grizzlies had a really good summer league.
They did. Let me tell you something. You were talking about Edey. That pick, man. I'm telling you, that was a good pick by him.
That was a great.
If he can stay healthy and play, I mean, oh my God, that's a force down low. They haven't had a center in that organization that really did anything since Pau Gasol, honestly. So,
Okay.
he did all right. Yeah, he did all right.
Well, in Zebo, but I'm talking about Zebo's peak powerful.
Yeah, but if you got a game-changing center in the middle that can, you know,
you can't teach 7'5".
You can't. And if he gets the calls in the NBA that he got in college, I mean, in that respect. So one thing he's got to watch out for is that NBA 3-second rule, because they don't call that college. They call it an NBA. And that's a technical.
Here's if he gets 15 to 18 feet if he works on that shot and the bank shot, like if he perfects the bank shot like Tim Duncan, like
It's over. I
it's
mean, shoot.
over.
I'll tell you
It's
one thing though, Khalil Ware being the center for the Heat, Adebayo can now play power forward, and that
yeah,
really is a game changer for the Heat
yeah.
at
That
this
is a
point.
game
That is
that
a huge
it
game changer.
like watch the difference. Check this out. If Bam let Bam get 25 shots a game,
Hmm.
like let him be the facilitator because he's basically a point. He's a 6'10" point
Point
guard,
forward. Yeah.
point
Hmm.
forward.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. And then he's not banging down low, getting worn out by somebody else's big or what have you, or having to run
Mhm.
around, chase them around on the 3-point range if they've got some range to them and they're not some stiff underneath. That's a game changer, man. I'm telling you. So yeah, a lot of games, a
Bam.
lot of minutes. So yeah,
Bam's one of my favorite players in the league. I need to get me a Bam out of Bio jersey.
yeah, yeah.
It looks like he's
Great,
gonna be a Heat guy forever.
man. This has been a great show, honestly.
Great
Like I
show,
said.
guys.
So
It was a
yeah,
good
for
one, man.
sure.
We covered a lot.
We
We
did. And a
covered a
lot of it
lot,
was
man.
West football. But like I said, reach out to Romero, see if the girls soccer coach wants to come on next week.
Yeah.
Maybe we can even get Lamar on and so forth before the Bearden game. That would be amazing if we could get
Very
Coach
amazing.
Brown on. So yeah, but for sure. So any of the coaches want to come on, we'll get them on. So yeah. Great show, guys. Well, Shane, any last thoughts, man, as we wrap this up? Great 2-hour show, man. So
To the players, focus the rest of the camp. Get the most out of these next 3 days you got left of camp, and be ready to work.
yeah, yeah. And just to go off on that, guys, for the seniors, stay focused. Don't let the injuries or the pain get in your way. You like the pain. Just keep going through it. Look at those rings. Just remember the euphoria that you felt on December 2nd and December 1st the last couple of years. Wait till you feel that again. It could happen again, but it's up to you, and you got to make it count, and you got to make sure that everybody, the juniors, the sophomores, the freshmen, everyone buys in. We got your back. You just go out there and do your thing, and we will make this roll as one West. Got to throw that W up. Two pair. Finish us out, brother, as always,
Hey
man.
man, you know what it is, man. Love, peace, and chicken grease, man. It is rebels with a cause, man. The cause don't stop.
When the clock hits 0, baby. We out.
That's it, man. We out. Peace.
Peace. Go Rebels.